Special live broadcast throughout the day on 1620 The Zone from the Connor Happer Show to Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Boys, how you doing?
Hello, Nick. Our apologies for not being on the video stream. That's my bad. I know you want to see us. We have a beautiful background behind us.
Yeah. I'm a man, Nick.
Yeah, we got the whole setup going on in here. But yeah, this is gonna be cool. It'll be really cool to be around. We're loaded. We're jacked.
Wait, you guys already started drinking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's definitely what we bet. We're loaded. And we thought that'd be a great way to mark the occasion today.
Yeah.
So that's what we started doing. We started drinking at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Someone's got coffees. Someone's got to do it. Hey, Odson, I got to know your opinion on the Roadhouse remake.
Oh yeah, we watched the trailer yesterday.
Oh yeah, that looks like an abomination.
So it was like it was like a 3.5 minute trailer, and I started playing it. And we got about 45 seconds in, and then Josh was like, he wasn't watching. He was kind of on his computer. He was like, is this Roadhouse? And I was like, yeah. So he kind of scoots over, and he starts looking at my computer. And you got through what, about 45 more seconds?
Yeah. And then
that's of the trailer, Josh.
Yeah. I'm going to have to watch that. That's the thing.
Honestly, I'm kind of in on Jake Gyllenhaal. Though.
Are you?
I know it's not popular with the Swifties.
He looks great.
But
I'll give him that.
I think he's he plays like a psychopath really well.
Yeah, he can do. He's I would say, what's the word I'm looking for? A
real method actor.
Yeah. I would say he's multifaceted. Yeah, he can he can transition his body from one type to the other too. So I guess there's that. I don't know. I'm not huge into it. I just, if it's not Swayze, I don't think it's anything. But I mean, obviously Patrick Swayze no longer with us. Wasn't there a Ronda Rousey rumor a long time ago? They were going to retread the whole idea of Roadhouse, and Ronda Rousey was going to play. Well,
that was the original idea for this movie that is now with Jake Gyllenhaal. But I don't know if you've ever heard Ronda Rousey speak. She's not great at it. So,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, she played herself well in the Entourage movie.
I mean, she was great for that 9 seconds in Fast and Furious 7, and it just didn't translate to a starring role for her.
I get it. Well, remember when they were talking about that too? The Ronda Rousey stock was through the roof.
Yeah,
she could do no wrong.
That was at the height of her power.
Yeah, she could do no wrong. So if you want to put her in a movie and she's going to be the cooler at the Double Deuce, then so be it. She's going to be. But
all right, check it out, Nick. We joined the stream. Joey, get us in there. Look at this. We got the Mega 360 cam is hashtag.
Oh, there it is.
Back.
Nice.
We've dusted it off from the College World Series.
Wasn't it the Big Ten?
Beautifully.
Was it at the Big Ten Media Days too?
It was.
Yes. Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, Media Days.
Looking good, boys. Looking
let's
good.
Go. So look, our background. We got other backgrounds. Yeah. We got various places to sit. I might start playing the piano.
Yeah, there's a piano. We might be doing a little piano bar here.
So I fancy myself as obviously I think I could do a lot of things, musically inclined. So maybe I hop on there a little bit, tickle the
ivory. Have you ever in your life played anything that was even remotely a tune on the piano?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my grandma was a piano instructor, and she
played,
at the church for her entire life.
Okay.
And so I would pick up things. My mom's pretty musically inclined, and so I don't know if I know the basics of piano, but I know.
Could you play chopsticks?
I know enough musically to understand what I'm looking at. No, I don't think I could do chopsticks.
Okay.
I may at one point knew how to do chopsticks. I could do a couple Christmas songs.
Okay,
well, that's
top.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Did
not
you see
nothing.
Your boy Billy Joel's going to play at the Grammys.
What?
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm excited by this. I love Billy Joel, man.
He's
Billy Joel's one of us.
Week before the Super Bowl.
Hell yeah, they should let him do the Super Bowl halftime. You think they'll let him do the Super Bowl halftime one more time before he dies?
I believe he might be a guest of Usher.
Yeah, I hear they're
Billy
tight.
Joel. That would be
Usher.
awesome.
You guys know Usher and Billy Joel are they are extremely tight.
That would be sweet. I do like if there's one thing. His residency at the Garden just ended, so I do want to see a Billy Joel show at Madison Square Garden. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah,
I saw him when he came to Lincoln. It wasn't the same.
So getting back to your piano part.
Yes, let's talk piano.
So remember, I don't know, like, because we're all kind of in like different generations. We're all spread out by a few years age-wise. It was always kind of thought to be cool, like if you played like guitar, like if you could be hanging out with your buddies in high school, and then you had some girls hanging around too, and all of a sudden one of you busted out the acoustic, and they're like, "Wow, there's some mystery to that person. He can play the guitar." Like, seriously, I felt like that was baller. But I think piano, if you could just like all of a sudden hop on the piano bench and start playing some stuff, like a little bit more, significant stuff. Like I feel like the ladies would have really appreciated that.
I came up with this idea in my head. This is probably a couple of years ago, that I wanted to commit a whole bunch of time, but this is what I wanted to do. Okay. I didn't execute any of it, but what I wanted to do was I wanted to, for this exact scenario that you're just explaining, Nick, like show up at a party. Oh, look, maybe there's a piano, I can just rip it off at any time. I wanted to learn how to play the beginning of Roses by Outkast. Oh
yeah.
And that's really obviously, quite challenging. So I looked at some YouTube videos, and I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. My piano knowledge isn't quite advanced, but like that's how I would want to do it. I don't want to learn the basics and the chopsticks and all that stuff. Like,
you want to dive in?
If I want to,
like the bar in Top Gun, you want to be that guy.
Yes, just throw me a song.
Jeff Healey Band? Oh, in Top Gun. Sorry, I'm thinking of I've got Roadhouse in the mind. I'm thinking of the Jeff Healey Band.
You're thinking too much Roadhouse.
Yeah, you want to do Great Balls of Fire. I got you.
But just throw me all the way in, and like even if that's the one thing I know how to do, I could play the beginning of Roses by Outkast, and then everybody, starts saying Caroline, and then we just go from there.
And you would have set the tone for the night.
That would be the coolest thing. That would be the coolest party trick that I could think of. That is like kind of feasible. So yes, I have thought about this a lot, but nowhere close to execution.
Because your old co-host, my old co-host and producer Brett Kane, I know he's pretty good at the acoustic, right?
He plays?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he plays guitar.
Wow, Brett, with things I don't know about Brett.
Yeah.
He really brings down the house at a karaoke event.
Yep.
He
likes doing a lot of JT for karaoke.
Wow, I'm glad you said that, because that's definitely true. Yeah, that's where I was going. But like, it's the dancing part. You know, that
he works the room.
Really involved with the crowd.
Yep.
But that's what you want to do. I always tell people, speaking of Billy Joel, that my performance of Billy Joel's Piano Man at the MGM Grand at the sports bar, like they had, so there's like a little sports bar area down in the corner of the main floor of the MGM Grand, right next to the sports book. And one night when we were there, they were doing there's a big stage, and they were like, it's karaoke time, and I'm like, this is amazing. And because there's a couple hundred people there, probably.
It's like you're putting on a show. It's like your own little concert.
You can't do bad in that scenario. You can't do poorly. So I just, I thought I'd get up there and I'd sing Piano Man, and I waited. And, nobody might, believe this, but it did bring down the house. I had everybody singing along. Yeah. And usually, they get mad at people if you, like rip off a 7-minute song or something like that.
Oh yeah, because you got people are on the list.
Yep. There's always the guy who gets up there and he like wants to do War Pigs or something like that. And I'm like, no.
There's usually a Meatloaf song in there somewhere. Yeah.
You're doing all the small things. Get in and get out.
Paradise by the Dashboard Light would be a pretty decent
Paradise by the Dashboard Light, I feel like, is a very popular karaoke song. But for those reasons right there, it's like, God, come on. Is this thing going to end or what?
Mark says it's too long. I kind of agree. But you would need like a partner. You would need somebody to do the girl parts.
Yep.
all the various moaning in the second half of the song. I don't know if they skipped that part in the karaoke version, but
what was the Sheryl Crow Kid Rock song that was popular?
Picture.
That was overdone so bad at karaoke bars. Anytime a guy and a girl got up to sing, you didn't even need the DJ to announce what they're going to sing by. I bet this is Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock.
Yeah, that's a good duet song.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. The karaoke cliches. That was definitely one of them. That's cool. So did you get some pats on the back afterwards too? Because when you got an audience of over like 200 and you're on a stage, man, dude, I think the heart rate would be elevated a little bit.
I felt like a rock star. Yeah, I felt like a rock star. I mean, high fives and all that stuff. Now, it ends very quickly because you move on to the next karaoke, and they do fine as well. But I'm as you could tell, this is multiple years ago at this point. I've told this story many times. I'm still basking in the glory of the moment.
It should be.
Yeah, I felt really, really good about it. That's impressive. It was a big moment for me.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Nick, what are you doing this weekend?
Just gonna watch.
Try and hit the links or something like that.
Oh man, you know what? If you could find a bay, you wouldn't even need the heater on right now because it's pretty acceptable to just go in like maybe a vest and long sleeve and hit some golf balls. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's enough green grass for any courses to be open. But
get on the mats, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
you can get on the mats.
Get out there in the mats, hit a couple balls, see the ball fly a little bit. Like, because, college baseball practice is open today. Are they going to be outside throwing?
Oh, my God. Is that true?
Yeah, college baseball practice is open today, buddy.
Iowa Western had media day yesterday.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
Well, I wasn't prepared for that yet, I don't think.
Well, it's not opening day. It's just practice is opening.
I know, but that's, that means we're like 2 weeks away.
We guys, four Fridays. We're exactly 4 Fridays from the season starting.
4? Okay, 4 Fridays.
Yeah.
That's
this
good.
Friday. Yeah. Before.
That's the buffer time that I need, man. Because I love to wish baseball season into existence. I'm counting down the days till pitchers and catchers report, just like all the other baseball sickos. But I don't know. We had that real cold snap, and it just sent me into a different place.
Oh, I'm with you.
I wasn't ready to hear the word baseball just then.
Well, I'm ready to come out of it because the temperatures have been much nicer. But my God, it's like Seattle around here. We have no sunlight at all, so it's bumming me out. But I will be at the game tomorrow night, so I'm looking forward to seeing some Connor Happer in-game breakdown and pre-game breakdown.
Okay, well then maybe I'll ask you this question. I think, by the way, before let me get the preamble here. If we did an office superlative thing, you may win best dressed at the office.
Me?
So you.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks, guys.
So I mean, you have you got the vests, and I feel like you probably can dress yourself up to an event or something like that. I feel like you do a pretty good job. So with that, let me ask you this question. I think I'm going to wear a suit tomorrow.
Yeah.
Feels appropriate.
And I think it's gonna be a blue suit
with a pink shirt.
So that's the question.
Oh, okay.
Is it pink shirt or pink tie? It's got to be pink tie, right?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, if you're going blue suit, I'd go white. Well, you could even go.
Do you have a pocket square?
Ooh, see there. You know what? Josh is on point right there. Go with the white shirt, pink tie, and a pink pocket square, and you're gonna just like your karaoke performance. You're gonna bring down the house.
So that's interesting because normally if it's for the Doug McDermott special occasion, I didn't wear a tie. Right. But you could go pocket square, no tie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could. If you really want to, be in theme with the pink out. If you're not going to go tie, then I would go with a pink button down.
Pink button down. Oh, light, really light.
Yeah, light pink. Yeah, don't get crazy.
Easter's right around the corner. You can get 2 uses.
Oh yeah, I would go to Kohl's. Go to Kohl's, man. You'll probably find pink button downs. You can get a Stafford button down, ironless. Oh yeah, iron free, whatever they call those things. Yeah.
So okay, I get another text here from Ravi, who obviously fashionista.
Whoa, dump button.
But we have to name him because he really knows what he's talking about fashion wise. Mr. 3-piece suit. Mm-hmm. He's like the Jay Wright of radio in that way. If you go pocket square, no tie, gotta go pink shirt.
Yeah, I think I agree. Okay. Yeah, if you're going to go no tie, if you're going tie, then you can go ahead and go white dress shirt, pink tie, pink pocket square. But if you are going no tie, I feel like you got to go pink dress shirt.
Okay, well, I'll have to find something that works for me.
I'm glad we had this conversation.
Me too, because I would have showed up in something different.
Yeah, I want you to look good, man. Again, you got to captivate the audience.
I very much appreciate that.
You got to draw that attention to you.
That's why I asked you.
Speak. I'm actually kind of I'm honored. Yet I'm wondering if this is sort of a joke too.
No.
Because I wear the hoodies as much as you all too.
But they're nice hoodies. They're not like Nick Grimm hoodies.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Look at the rest of us.
We're talking about a different level there, but Yeah.
Shout out to Nick.
Yeah,
we'll see him. We'll see him a little bit.
We
later.
love Nick. All right.
Nick
Before
did me a favor last night. So
he did. What did he do? Can you
tell
us that?
He just put he saved me some time this morning by putting a piece of audio.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Nick.
Okay. Before I say goodbye, so again, you guys are out there, but let's tell everybody why you guys are out there too. At Hope Lodge.
So it's our annual Pink Out broadcast. In the Creighton Pink Out game is tomorrow. It's the 14th Pink Out game, which is crazy to sort of think about. And so this is my third year here. The first year that I was here, we had to do the show at Nebraska Furniture Mart because everybody had COVID. The second year, I had COVID last year.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Robbie did the show.
I remember that. Yeah.
And this year we're back, so it's really exciting to sort of be here. You can stop by and make paper donations or money donations, and then you could also donate online too. Cancer.org/pinkout. And Creighton's got racking up a pretty good total right now, just in there. And if you follow that link, it'll like put you in the Creighton section, sort of. So the Hope Lodge is basically it's for cancer patients and their families who have to travel far away to get treatment, and they don't want to have to worry about, do I have to stay in an extended stay hotel, or do I have to burden one of my family members by staying with them forever? And so the Hope Lodge, supports them in that way. So it's a super cool place, and peace of mind is like such a huge deal, when you talk about any piece of that. So this place will definitely give you peace of mind. So we encourage people to donate to this cause and all the others that cancer.org supports. So we're here, and we'll be here all the way. We'll be here till 2, and Mac will drop by after the crossover. Greg McDermott on the crossover, which will be really fun. Maybe we can ask him, what kind of pen he's using or something like that.
Hey, can you ask him this one? Because I think this was a new development with Kim Mulkey. If he's ever wore like a 3/4 zip or a suit that was actually like sponsored by a soft drink, like seeing the Coca-Cola the Tiger suit that Kim Mulkey had on last night. Like that. No, it really was brought to you by Coca-Cola. Like this gaudy outfit is brought to you by Coca-Cola.
I thought that was a fever dream.
No, it happened.
No, that was the reality. I thought I had to look back and said maybe this has been going on and I've just never seen it. But man, the Coca-Cola label was loud and proud on the side of her little sport coat.
Yeah, well, I'll ask. Hey, Mac, have you ever considered wearing a suit jacket sponsored with a giant Bud Light sign on it,
right?
Or something like that.
I mean, it could be just something settles like maybe having a Nike swoosh on the back of a sports coat, but it's still just be true to the brand.
Bucks in the hopper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll make sure to squeeze that one in for sure. And then John and Josh will be out here until 6:00 finishing out the day, so it should be a good one. Nick, thanks, man.
Yeah, good stuff, boys. Have fun up there.
Yep, have a good weekend.
You too.
That is the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Very busy show. We'll talk to some of our guests that have been talked to already. We're not here to lie to you. Year of transparency. And some of our guests will drop by, some of the people involved with the process of Creighton and the Hope Lodge and the medical field in general. And of course, we'll try to have a normal show in the meantime. I don't know if we'll be able to get too many takes off, Josh.
I got him if you need him.
Josh, take now. Go.
The game was great last night. South Carolina pulled it out, and Kim Mulkey lost. What a night.
Pretty good. Like 2 fireballs out of 5 on that take. All right. So we'll have plenty coming up. The lineup powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We'll come back and start things off from the American Cancer Society Hope Lodge next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Do you think the top part of a mermaid also tastes like fish, or would it actually be red meat?
I think it kind of blends toward the waist, like in the middle you get like a nice cut of both.
Wouldn't the top half of the mermaid be white meat?
No, are people white meat?
No, we're red meat, John.
The breasts! Breasts!
Oh, those.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Dense fog advisory in effect again Friday morning. Watch out for slick spots during the morning drive with temperatures hovering around the freezing mark. Visibility improves in the afternoon, remaining cloudy with highs in the mid-30s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats. Dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people. Small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Since 1972, family-owned and locally roasted Host Coffee Service has been roasting the finest coffee for businesses and restaurants. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Do you want more control over your business spending? Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management platform designed to save you time and money. Ramp offers unlimited corporate cards with spend controls you can customize to stop wasteful spending before it happens. Ramp makes expense reports a breeze by automatically collecting receipts and matching them to the right transaction. You'll close your books in hours instead of days. Ramp allows you to see all of your company spend in one place, so you can make quick, informed decisions about your business finances. Plus, Ramp will share insights based on your spending to help you cut costs. Over 15,000 businesses have added up to 5% to their bottom line with Ramp. You can be one of them. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? A man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $110 per month. Level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, there are great rates available for you as well. Call Term Busters for a quote. 1-800-908-7636. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-908-7636. Remember, call Term Busters. 1-800-908-7636. Sample rate for preferred non-tobacco rate class. Exam required to qualify.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel. Évidemment. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
It's the Connor Happer Show with Connor Happer and Josh Otson. Let's get ready to rumble.
Licensing of the phrase "let's get ready to rumble" just over the last 7+ years internationally is grossed approximately close to $400 million in retail sales.
Really?
You guys look like, what do they look like, Jimmy?
Dorks. They look like a couple of dorks.
On 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Friday. It is the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer and Josh Hodson with you live from the Hope Lodge, which is at about, let's call it 82nd. I've been, it's like in between 84th and 80th and Dodge, and basically Farnam here.
83rd?
Yeah. You'll see it. You'll see it, you know, right off the split there. Here we are for our annual Pink Out broadcast. You can drop by. In fact, we encourage you to bring by, paper products. And, of course, we'll take donations as well to support the American Cancer Society's Hope Lodge. Today on the show, and then, of course, the Hope Lodge is a giant beneficiary of the donations that will be taken from Creighton tomorrow, which you'll be able to donate with the QR code in the back of your I Fight For signs at the Creighton game. The Pink Out is always always awesome. I got some. So by the way, the pink out auction that Creighton did, which they auction off all the jerseys that are going to be worn in the game, and the shooting shirts, and a couple basketballs, and a round of golf with Mac, and shoes and stuff like that. Yeah, that closed earlier this week. They raised $36,000.
Hey, let's go
during that period of time. So, congratulations, pat yourselves all on the back again. We look to do some more damage here this weekend. All right, as we mentioned, a little busy today on the show. We'll have a bunch of different things sort of coming at you. We're going to get in tentatively all of our Friday normal guests. Sipple is the only one who hasn't been contacted.
He's a real wild card.
And so there's going to be a lot of moving pieces. Are we going to be available to call him at 12:30? I don't know. Is he going to be available to answer the phone at 12:30? I don't know. So we're going to just leave that one up in the air kind of for the bit of it all and just sit there for it. Elsewhere, we will talk to Bryan Munson here coming up here in just a minute or two. Brian Christopherson in the show as well. Stephen Ashworth, Creighton's point guard, will join us for a conversation. We talked a lot about his sort of development and his mindset change that Mac kind of mentioned the other night. We'll also talk to Dr. Paige Harwell, who's the breast surgeon at CHI Health, Julie Murray, who's the vice president of Methodist Hospital and a board member of the American Cancer Society, and a couple folks who are, patients and staying at the Hope Lodge, all during the show today. Once again, that's the lineup powered by the Roofery of John Higgins Weather Guard. Still take your thoughts any way you want to get them to us. Twitter at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And you can send us a text. I'd probably lay off the calls today, but send us a text at 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees The Source hotline. We say good morning to our YouTube streaming audience this morning. We got the beautiful 360 cam back out, dusted it off from Big Ten Media Days. And I don't know if we're looking sharp, but we are on the camera anyway. And then there's Joey back in studio, who's all decked out in his Creighton gear.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Joey's ready to go. Joey, by the way, Joey, big Packers fan. You feeling fulfilled even after a little bit of a shortcoming last week?
A little bit, but now I'm hearing that Brandon Staley's being interviewed for the DC job. So
Nobody wants that.
I'm a little nervous.
My condolences.
Please no.
Keep that Creighton gear on.
Yeah, I will.
All right, so let's get into the show today. Last night I chatted with Bryan Munson. Got to get that recruiting update in. It's a big, there's still another junior day this weekend. Nebraska, as we'll talk about, the 2024 class is never finished.
Never.
It's never over. They'll be adding people in 6 years to the 2024 class. And we'll catch up on a couple specific potential members of that class and then the next few. Here is Bryan Munson of HuskerOnline.com on the Connor Happer Show.
And we're joined now by Bryan Munson of HuskerOnline.com. Munson, hello. Happy Friday. How are you?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you?
Excellent. All right. So we're working on a couple different things. We're like in between 2 weeks in recruiting here in an important couple weeks, as we talked about last week with Nebraska's Junior Day. Let's flash back to last weekend first. And you wrote, this week on your story on HuskerOnline.com and the 3 and Out, like if you want to sort of summarize up the weekend last weekend, it was what for Nebraska football?
I think it's going to go down to being an incredibly important weekend for Nebraska. I mean, if you go back and look at these early weekends that Nebraska has done before with Matt Rule, and you look at the guys that they had brought in, there tends to be a pretty consistent makeup of the players that show up early that end up being part of the class and being part of the process, like from here on out. I think that there's some really kind of interesting themes to kind of take away from this. I think the first one is that, you had a lot of wide receivers in Lincoln. You had Isaiah Mose and Cortez Mills, and you get like the local guy, Jackson Carpenter to come in and you get your commitment to come in to CJ Simon. So you're really really trying to figure out like how that class is going to kind of. And Bryson Hayes is a guy that I think was favoring staying in the state of Kansas now, maybe looking a little bit more towards getting outside the state and coming to Nebraska potentially. I just think that it was a great vibe. I think that you got to listen to like the words of like a Jack Limbaugh very, very carefully from when he told me like, hey, this is my third trip to Nebraska. You know, my mom was an All-American at Nebraska as a volleyball player, and my dad played football in Nebraska. And we got a man cave downstairs in the basement, but we went to Nebraska this weekend and we saw stuff that we had never seen before. And I think that those are really, really interesting things and how Rule and his staff are going to have to keep continuing to kind of, you know, keep the carrot out in front of these recruits that are inside the radius to keep them coming back, because they're all going to have options. I mean, you and I were talking about Chase Lofton before, and Chase Lofton's a guy that's absolutely blowing up, picked up Penn State today. You're going to have some reasons and some ways to kind of keep him, you know, wanting to keep going back to Lincoln. And these are those little secrets I think that Rule and his staff are figuring out.
Is this a bad read? But it seemed like, you know, last weekend, just by the list, it was relatively regional, just in terms of where they were coming from.
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. I think that you really had a driving radius kind of group coming in, with a couple of exceptions, like Cortez Mills obviously comes to mind. I think the reason why Cortez Mills, you know, was brought in is because he's tried to come in a couple times before. He's close to Coach Phil Simpson, who was actually his high school head coach, you know, before he joined Rule's staff. So there's a real closeness there. And then Matt Rule was there on Thursday. So he's down in Miami checking him out and talking to him. I think Cortez Mills knows where Nebraska really, you know, like where they've got him on his board, telling him that he could be the next Devontae Smith. And they really want to work with a guy like that. So I do feel like this was more of a regional junior day, and then we'll see what happens this weekend.
I think we talked about defensive line a little bit last week and just sort of touched on it like, it was sort of like this year, because I think they felt like they did pretty good in the previous class, and we already kind of saw that play out on the field. So let's go back to the defensive line for this weekend. And I think, you know, we're not exactly sure what the list looks like yet, but the one guy that kind of stands out right now is in an interesting position in Jalen Williams, because he's a heavy lean to Michigan, and things at Michigan have changed quite significantly over the last couple of days. I guess, what's the significance of that visit for him?
I think it's such an interesting story to follow. I mean, we're going to get to know a lot more about him tomorrow morning. We're going to have a recruiting spotlight up on Husker Online. Sean will be doing the interview with him. But, you know, you're talking about a guy that's trending to Michigan so hard. They got a 97% chance he ends up going to Michigan. This is a good player. He's a top 250 player. He's 24th at his position, a defensive lineman. He's number 6 in the state. He's got great size. He's got great mobility. You know, there's a lot of things here with Jalen Williams from Palatine, Illinois, that you just have got to really like and just say that's a guy that would really make a lot of sense to line up next to a Van Poppel or have this great place in the class next to Tyson Terry. You know, there's just so many things that you can kind of plug and play and see with him, and how these guys would kind of complement each other, you know, up in Lincoln potentially. So I think that this is a fantastic weekend for Nebraska to get him, like you were saying, with Harbaugh going off to coach for the Chargers. I think he's going to have his eyes open. And I think Nebraska did a really, really good job, particularly with those guys that have just not seen Nebraska before last weekend, and how amazed they were with the facilities and how great the coaches were. Nebraska can really make a solid impression with Williams this weekend.
Well, let's go off that Michigan thing real quick, because it's more of a general question. We've seen these crazy, you know, these really ground shifting, you know, retirement / coaches moving on, Nick Saban and Jim Harbaugh, over the last couple of weeks in college football. And people like to think about it in terms of the portal and, you know, what's going to happen in that 30-day window for those guys. But, you know, from the recruiting perspective, obviously it changes things significantly. Some of it depends on, you know, which staff is coming in next and what they're going to do.
Yep.
But I mean, the landscape really changes. And I don't know if it 100% opens the door by each recruit. You never know what each of those situations are like, but it is really interesting. 2 playoff teams just lost their coach within a couple of weeks, and the national champion just lost their coach as well. Like, it is, and those guys are all national recruits.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I think it also really, Williams is going to be interesting because he's a regional guy to Michigan. It's going to really depend, like, whoever gets that Michigan job, like, what they want to do offensively, defensively, and where they feel like they have the right pipeline to, and where they can go get guys. Is everything kind of continued forward, kind of like a rule play where everybody who had an offer before still has an opportunity with the other team, or these guys got to be reoffered and kind of keep going through the process? There's some really, really interesting things. And I think that, there's obviously the whole regional thing comes into play there, and he's got other schools that are still kind of, there as well. Iowa's a big school for him as well on his list. I mean, from 97 down to 1%, but I mean, there are still some schools that are in the area, I think Nebraska included, that can really benefit from having this kind of changeover here with a few guys in the Great Lakes Big Ten footprint.
No doubt. I mean, there's definitely some overlap, right, in between Nebraska recruits and Michigan recruits. Has sort of always been that way, especially with Michigan. The way it really over the last, handful of years, they had some success in like the Kansas City area, and so there's some real overlap there with some schools that are in different positions now. So we've talked about this a couple times. We've touched base on it a couple times, and I still want to ask a little bit about this weekend specifically. But quarterback spot, let's check in on that one again with Alex Mansky, who's probably been the guy that we've talked about this entire time.
Yep.
But I think his situation may have changed at least a little bit as well. I guess what's the latest on him, as we quarterback's usually the first domino to fall in the class, and it kind of trickles down after that. So, I mean, we're not that far away from a run of guys making decisions here. Where do we stand in 2025 quarterbacks?
No, Mansky clearly had a great time at College Station. I mean, the graphic that he put out on Twitter, all the vibes that you seem to kind of get from what's happening with that one. It's interesting. I mean, it's hard for me to say this, being in the state of Texas, that a state of Texas team has to go north into Big Ten country to get their quarterback. I find that to be a little philosophically flawed. I think that you're gonna see it and hear it from some of the Texas high schools down here, that they're gonna be a little resentful that they passed on their boy. I think that there could be some local fallout on some of that stuff, but maybe they do and maybe they don't care. I've heard before, like where a team comes in, makes an offer, and then they yank an offer with a guy, and then a school comes back and says, "Don't ever come here and recruit my athletes again. I'm never talking to you again." Wow. I don't think it's going to – you've got that kind of dynamic, at least in Texas, to where you're going to see a guy, that comes up in Dallas or in Houston or in East or West Texas, and they're going to go, "Gosh, he could have been an SEC kind of quarterback, but they went out and got, so-and-so up in Iowa." And you're just wondering, why all of a sudden they're deciding not to pick from, guys in their own backyard. That can be a problem for some of these schools that want to do that. I mean, Mac Brown, he had a real hard time not doing that and going after some other guys. So it's interesting. We'll see what the answer here is. But I mean, Mansky still wants to make it to Lincoln. He obviously had a great time in College Station. I think the Cyclones are still, a team to be very, very interested in him and keep a close eye on them where they're at. But, I mean, I think when you start talking about this, though, I think Nebraska's really got to start getting folks focused on bringing in Matt Zollers from Pennsylvania, get him to come in. I think that it does two things. Number one, you're really starting to build that relationship with another guy. Number two, you're putting some pressure back on Alex Mansky to really figure out, do you want to go all the way to Texas to go play college football? Or, your boy Jack Limbaugh, double legacy guy, could end up back here in Lincoln. You could go over there and play with your high school boy. You could be that other guy in the room. And if anybody's scared of the room right now in Lincoln, imagine what it's going to look like in College Station in a couple of years. It's going to be wild. You're talking about an SEC school. Let's just be honest. It's going to be just as talented, if not more, down there in College Station.
Speaking of, I think we talked about this last week. 2024 class is at this point never going to end. They'll just keep adding people to it, or at least they'll keep attempting to add to their roster at any time. There's a big picture thing in there too with how they deal with roster and numbers and stuff like that, as we've discussed plenty of times. But you heard about Keona Wilhite this week, who is another piece of the fallout from the domino effect of Nick Saban leaving Alabama as a former Washington signee, as they lost Kalen DeBoer to Alabama. So I guess what's the latest with him and where does he stand right now? Obviously, the second signing day isn't until February, so there's still a little bit of time here. But where do we stand right now?
He's got about a week and a half to kind of get things straightened out, and I think that Nebraska made a huge impression on him during his time in Lincoln. He got to Lincoln on Sunday. He left on Tuesday. I caught up with him at the airport. Was really pretty blown away by what he saw up in Nebraska. Loved catching up with the staff, likes what he sees out of the defense, thinks he could be a fit for Will and for the jack linebacker position. He went home knowing that he was going to host UCLA in home on Wednesday, and then Texas was coming to see him actually the day before, the next day on Thursday. And that was definitely something that was catching his eye. I could hear this inflection in his voice when we were talking about it. He was like, "Oh yeah, and Texas is coming," and I was like, "Oh, are you kidding me? Like this is really happening now again too." I think it's he did say Matt Rule was coming to see him soon, so I think I'm gonna try to catch up with him later today, this afternoon, and see what's up with where Nebraska's at and what he's kind of thinking about still with the dust settling. And I think Nebraska is in a good spot. I think that the competition's getting ratcheted up even a little bit more afterward. And remember, UW is not off the table. I think Washington's still very much in the picture for him.
What's the recruiting sort of outlook look? Obviously, another big junior day this weekend, and then what does it look like after that until signing day, and then after signing day, you pretty much you almost go into football mode ish, at least I guess from there. I guess what do the next few weeks look like?
Yeah, I think that there'll be a little bit of a break, obviously, as they're getting into their winter conditioning. They're getting ready for spring practices. They're breaking in a quarterback's coach. They're kind of working out how they're going to work together as a staff. They got some things that they need to kind of get all that stuff kind of ironed out. I think that you could probably plan on, again, some sort of like an elite junior day. I think in March they'll make obviously another one out of the spring game in April. You'll see kind of some time off until the last week in May. And then I think things will start ramping back up again. I think you'll start talking about satellite camps, summer camps, other weekends that they're going to do, the official visitor weekends of those weekends right there, and how they're going to kind of structure all that and get it to kind of play out correctly. And then usually they have like that end of the year barbecue then in July. I think that those are about 4 or 5 things that people can kind of plan on loosely over the next 5 months or so.
All right, Munson. Well, we didn't get to catch up about the Bills this weekend. Good. So bad because they lost to the Chiefs and it was excruciating, but good because if you don't have anything to stress about, I don't think this weekend. So there's that.
No, I tell you what, all the injuries caught up with them. What are you going to do when you got to put, a guy that was going to retire, AJ Klein, on Kelsey? That just it's such a flawed way to kind of go about doing it. And they've got some things they need to address with free agency in the draft next year. So I'll be interested in seeing. It doesn't sound like it's a complete rebuild. They think that they've got another run in them. So I'll be interested to see how they kind of address it.
All right, Munson. Enjoy your weekend, man. Thanks for doing it.
Do the same, bud.
That is Bryan Munson of HuskerOnline.com. Yeah, we finally reached the end of the line for the Buffalo Bills, but
sad.
It is sad for some, and not sad for Chiefs fans. I guess I don't know who. I remember I was conflicted last week on who I actually wanted to win that game.
You were torn,
just from my heart, because I had talked so much about the Buffalo Bills and their fakeness this year, and then they had been playing really well. And then there's the Chiefs and that entire thing. So I'm on the fence. But Kansas City and Baltimore this weekend in the AFC Championship, 2:00 Sunday on CBS, and then Detroit and San Francisco, 5:30 on Fox. We'll talk about those. I expect to have a conversation about Tony Romo next week. because
I feel there will be some takes had
over the next two. I just want to prepare people for this. Watch out. My brain allows me, Josh, to see these topics almost emerging before they really fully emerge.
Wow, what a gift.
Yeah, I know. It's really a sports talk radio brain gift that I have. But what's going to happen this weekend is Tony Romo is going to say a bunch of crazy stuff on a game that gets watched by 50 million people.
At least.
And then he'll do the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. And we'll be having this whole big conversation about what are they going to do next and who else is out there and does Tony Romo actually want to do this anymore and how bad is he at this and all this stuff.
Is Greg Olsen going to be a free agent?
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about Tony Romo for the next 2 weeks. It should be a lot of fun. Elsewhere in the NFL, we were wondering if anybody wants Bill Belichick, which is not something that I thought that I'd be saying, but I think that is where we have arrived, so we can discuss all those topics throughout the show today. Thanks to Munson for doing that. We'll come back and we'll hear from Dr. Paige Harwell, who's a breast surgeon with CHI Health. And we talked to her a couple weeks ago, just sort of about the importance of early detection and, sort of what she sees most commonly as a breast surgeon, as people sort of go in their fight against cancer. And then, of course, what the Hope Lodge means, because that's where we are today. We are out at the Hope Lodge at about 80th and Farnam. We are taking your donations for paper products. You can also donate online, cancer.org/pinkouts. All donations will benefit the American Cancer Society Hope Lodge, which is where we are located right now. And Nebraska Cancer Specialists will be matching all donations received up to $30,000. And then, of course, there is the Creighton Pinkout game tomorrow. Plenty of talk about that during the show today. We'll come back with Dr. Harwell and more on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
It's history in the making as the Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, continue their inaugural season as they host the San Diego Mojo on Saturday, February 3rd at 6 p.m. World-class professional volleyball right here in Nebraska at the CHI Health Center. Secure your tickets and get to know your Supernovas by visiting supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com.
What if I told you there was a way to step into another gear for your brain and be much sharper, more focused, and improve your memory to a level that you could only dream about and notice these results in 30 minutes? Hard to believe? Neuroscientists are calling this new brain discovery the biggest advancement in brain science to date. It's called Limitless, the brain pill of the future. Take it, and within 30 minutes, you'll transport your mind to a new level of focus and clarity you would have never thought possible.
I took Limitless, and it started working in minutes. All of a sudden, it felt like a dark cloud had been lifted up right before my eyes. I have a mental clarity I've never felt before.
Biz execs, athletes, teachers, and students are calling Limitless a secret weapon for the brain. You have nothing to lose, so call now and find out how to get a free bottle today.
To find out how to get your free bottle of Limitless, call 800-605-3946. That's 800-605-3946. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now. 800-605-3946. 800-605-3946.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-659-8080. That's 1-800-659-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-659-8080. That's 1-800-659-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
At Churco, Chef Dave blends the distinctive food of Northern Italy with the melting pot of American cuisine to bring a unique fusion of style and flavors to West Omaha. From fresh pastas handcrafted daily to house-dry aged steaks, focaccia bread baked daily. Churco is perfect for date night or any night. Churco features crafted unique cocktails, an extensive Italian and American wine list, and a robust happy hour Tuesday through Sundays. Churco, located at 192nd and Q and CIRCOOmaha.com.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
If you're having problems in the bedroom, talking about it is the last thing you want to do. Same goes for hair loss, anxiety, or even depression. That's where HIMS comes in. Through HIMS, you don't have to talk about it. You can do something about it. Just go to hims.com/start, where you can find a variety of potential solutions for the problems men face every day and save up to 95% on generic alternatives. The entire process is 100% online, making it incredibly simple, straightforward, and above all, private. If prescribed, treatments made using clinically proven ingredients are shipped directly to your door in low-key packaging. So if you're experiencing ED, hair loss, anxiety, or problems with your general health, you don't have to go to the doctor, the pharmacy, or spend all day talking about it. Just go to hims.com/start and do something about it. Get started today at hims.com/start. That's HIMS.com/START.
All right, welcome back. We're with the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer and Josh Hodson with you here from the Hope Lodge for our annual Pink Out broadcast. Creighton's Pink Out game tomorrow against DePaul. We were just thinking about Creighton basketball a little bit during one of the breaks here. And so they've had a couple days since the Xavier game now. You go into the DePaul game, and famously, Creighton won by a lot at DePaul when they saw them. So I don't know, maybe you're in line for something along the same lines here. And then you don't play again until next Friday. So, Creighton's not in a break, but they're kind of in a break right now, which is nice.
Yeah, especially after playing triple overtime, long road trip. It'll be nice to have some time off their feet.
9-4 in Pink Out games. They're going to be 10-4 after tomorrow. So here's what has to happen. Not much to see except for the game, right? Except for the Pink Out game. Taking the emotions, get Baylor Shireman off the floor, check 3 or 4 boxes, get out of there with a win, and then be back at home on Friday against Butler. Creighton has beaten DePaul 19 straight times.
Oh, that's a lot.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Creighton has beaten DePaul 19 straight times. Its longest run of victories over one opponent in school history, which is, the most in school history. Here's some more Rob facts from you. Per research from the Elias Sports Bureau, Creighton's 19 straight wins over DePaul are tied for the nation's 6th longest active win streak by one team over another current league foe, and tops among high major Power 6 teams. Gonzaga has beaten Pepperdine 47 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They don't count though because they're not Power. Vermont has beaten Maine 27 times in a row. Gonzaga has beaten San Francisco 27 times in a row. Think about that.
Almost didn't last night.
So 47 in a row for Gonzaga over Pepperdine and 27 in a row for Gonzaga over San Francisco. That's 4 free wins that they just get every single year.
Every year.
Just they're for free. You can guarantee them.
They need them right now.
Toledo has beaten Miami of Ohio 21 straight times. Vermont has beaten Binghamton 20 times in a row. And then Creighton has beaten DePaul 19 times in a row, along with some others tied at 19 as well. That's Power Conference versus Power Conference, although it doesn't seem like it sometimes.
Doesn't always feel like it.
Which is funny because, I mean, I guess going off of these numbers, that means DePaul has beaten every other team in the league during that period of time in which Creighton's won 19 in a row. That seems that seems difficult to believe.
Yeah. Are they randomly popping one off every year? It doesn't seem like
I
it.
can't recall a time in which they beat,
Villanova. Yeah.
Right? I don't know, but there's some good stuff there from Rob in the old notes today. Hey, before we get to Dr. Harwell, I want to talk about one thing here. So we brought you that Keyshawn Boutte story yesterday. So
we did a great job delivering the news as it happened. No errors were made.
He be gambling. he be gambling, and that's not a good thing when you're in the NFL and when you're in college and you're underage. So we have some more details on this, which we did not have yesterday to our credit. So he said that he is accused of placing more than 8,900 wagers, including at least 6 on LSU while he played for LSU. But as we always get into with these gambling stories, Josh, there's always something that gets them caught, right? And you could throw an umbrella over the entire thing and throw a tarp over the whole thing and say, what usually gets you caught is being an idiot, right?
Generally, yes.
This is the case here again. He allegedly created a couple, he created an alias gambling account on one of the sportsbook websites, and his fictitious identity was Kayla Fortenberry. That's what his name was. But you also have to do a username. You have to have a username and then your like screen name.
Okay.
So his screen name was Kayla Fortenberry, but his username was Keyshawn Boutte 01.
Oh no.
And then he created a second account, username Keyshawn Boutte 07. That was last June in Massachusetts. And then we have some details on how much money we're talking about here. Authorities claim Boutte deposited a total of $132,147.53 into the account and won over $556,000.
Wow.
And then used most of those winnings to fund other bets. When he ultimately cashed out of the account, he only had $50,000. So he went, he really rode the wave there.
He really did, yeah.
He went up and down. He had a great run. But you got to know when to get out, Josh. You got to know. And in his case, when to get out is actually immediately, right away. But, and never get in the first place. But he went all the way up, and then he ended up actually losing like $80,000 on the way out, which is, I love when the details come out about this stuff because you get to actually learn. We're like one step away from learning all the things that he bet on. There's some reports out there about him taking the over on himself in various different LSU games and then falling like there was one report that stated basically he took the over on receiving yards for himself, and it was part of like an 8-leg parlay, and he came in under. And so he missed because of him. He missed the parlay because of himself.
Everything else hit. Sad.
And
you can literally only be mad at yourself.
Amazingly, these underage wagers came. They took place in the span. So we had the dates. This is what we screwed up yesterday. April 6th, 2022 through May 7th, 2023, which is the date of his 21st birthday. So we're not talking about a month. We're talking about over a year.
Okay.
In this case, still.
Still a lot.
What's the thing that gets you caught? Just being an idiot. And so that's what has happened here. He was arrested and he got his bond or whatever. But I don't know if we're gonna see much of him very many
seem
times
like
soon.
it.
Yeah.
Any relation to local dignitary Jeff Fortenberry?
Jeff Fartenberry?
Fartenberry.
That's what they.
He actually doesn't like that name, guys. So don't call him that.
He's gonna get really mad.
I know from experience.
I don't know if Kayla Fortenberry in his mind had any relation to Jeff Fortenberry. Maybe he created a whole alias.
Was he hearing Jeff Fortenberry on the news a lot and said, "Ooh, that's a good last name. I'll use that."
Maybe Bill Moose. Remember when Bill Moose created a whole athletic department in his head? That whole story about how he was like when he was a kid, he was growing up and he would like make athletic departments and he would hire head coaches and he would hire athletic directors and he would have a budget and all of these things. Weird thing, but yeah, maybe Kayla Fortenberry was comes from that school. somewhere along the line. Rob says, LSU Rob, by the way.
Oh,
you don't go to LSU to play no school.
Well,
obviously, does not seem that way. Or maybe they weren't taught effectively. Who knows?
Brian Kelly's got to teach them up now.
But I remember when we talked about this with the Alabama coach, and everybody was like, "Yeah, we need to educate people on this." Well, I mean, yes, we need to educate people on this. Of course, there needs to be a base level of education, but we should have the expectation as a society that you can follow the rules that are already laid out for you, like not gambling underage and not gambling when you're an NFL player and not gambling when you're a college football player. Like those are rules that are already existing, bar none, before we even get into the conversations about gambling. So, it's a two-way street.
The entire football world is about to descend on the city of Las Vegas. And there are a number of rules in place for active NFL players. I wonder if anyone will slip up over the next 2 weeks and get their name in the news because they did something that they didn't know they couldn't do.
That would be a story. That's for sure. I would definitely prevent us from talking about Tony Romo, which would be super nice. By the way, crack statistician Mark Onweiler, DePaul beat Villanova about a year ago.
Wow.
About a year ago.
People forget.
Wow. I certainly did. Villanova wasn't so good at the beginning of last year, and then they started to get healthy, and then they got kind of scary at the end before I think they made the NIT last year. But DePaul caught them. So there you go. DePaul did beat Villanova. They haven't slayed the beast of the Creighton Blue Jays in 19 straight attempts, though. And they're not going to tomorrow, by the way. So
you don't think the interim coach is going to coach them up?
I do not. I don't think there's many concerns
on the day of a pink out game.
No.
Okay.
I think that's going to be a lot to deal with for the DePaul Blue Demons tomorrow. All right, so we're gonna keep this thing going here from the Hope Lodge. We'll talk to a couple beneficiaries of Hope Lodge here in just a few minutes. But first, Joey, let's pull up our interview with Dr. Paige Harwell, who's a breast surgeon at CHI Health. We talked to her a couple weeks ago and sort of talked to her about the importance of early detection in the Hope Lodge in general. This is a good chat. And here is Dr. Paige Harwell.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Out here at the Hope Lodge for our Pink Out broadcast, getting ready for a big day tomorrow with Creighton basketball and a yearly event. A lot of things surrounding it, and every year we talk to, I think this is probably the third or fourth year in a row, we talked to Dr. Paige Harwell, who is a breast surgical oncologist with CHI Creighton. Dr. Harwell, how are you?
Hi, Connor. I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. Well, let's get a little bit of background first before we get into the day and sort of what it means and some information from you guys. Tell us a little bit about yourself and sort of why this particular event is so important to you.
Yeah. So as you said, I'm a breast surgical oncologist with CHI Creighton, and I work at our breast center over here at Lakeside. And we are so grateful for Creighton to host this game to raise awareness for our patients and for Hope Lodge. It's just such a huge thing for our patients.
Yeah, I mean, every single year we're always sort of struck by the idea of it and then how it all comes together. Tell us a little bit about, because we're here, and tell us a little bit about the Hope Lodge in general and how important that is. I know you've talking to patients and sort of going through that entire process with them. I mean, how often does that conversation come up just with the Hope Lodge and its importance to your patients?
More often than you would think. Patients, obviously not everybody, lives in town. And so people need to come from all over Nebraska, and they need somewhere to stay during their treatment. And, it's so hard to be away from home, but I think that Hope Lodge does a beautiful job of making it a home away from home. It's just not like staying in a hotel. It's like being with people who know how to take care of you. They understand what you're going through. It's just, those patients need that.
Tell us a little bit about why you chose CHI Health and a little bit more information maybe on the Breast Health Center out at Lakeside.
So I think what I love about Lakeside Breast Health Center and CHI in general is that we really take a comprehensive approach to our breast cancer patients. They are more than just cancer patients. They're women and men who have families, and we think of them that way first. And we like to be able to provide total care. So they meet with a medical oncologist, a radiation oncologist, a genetic counselor, and a surgeon, and kind of come up with a full treatment plan so they don't have to worry about putting those pieces together themselves. We take care of that for them.
One of the common things that we hear every single year when we do this and when we talk about cancer and breast cancer in general is the importance of early detection. And I know you've done a million of these interviews and talked about it on and on and on. It can never be enough, right? Tell us a little bit about the importance of early detection and just that importance in the process.
Absolutely. I never get tired of talking about early detection because it is so vital for our patients. I think, a lot of women think, oh, if I feel something, then I'll come in. Unfortunately, if you feel something, that probably means it's at a later stage. And early detection catches things before you would be able to feel it. That just makes such a huge difference for treatment. It usually means smaller surgery, possibly no chemotherapy, just less treatment overall, and a much, much better outcome for patients. And so catching it before you feel it is really, really key in breast cancer.
What's the best way to actually functionally do that?
So every woman over the age of 40 qualifies for a yearly mammogram. And it's just, I know that a lot of people are afraid of mammograms, but I promise you they are not painful like people think. And the technology has come a long way. But yes, every woman over the age of 40 should get a mammogram every year.
Awesome. Dr. Harwell, well, we so much look forward to the event as we do every single year. And it's so great to be out here at the Hope Lodge. And, we love to support anything that you guys are doing every single day over there at CHI Health. We appreciate the time as always. Great to chat again. And we'll do it for many, many years to come.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
That's Dr. Paige Harwell, who is a breast surgeon at CHI Health, talking about the variety of importance of early detection and things like that. And remember, it's the pink out is sort of grown so much over the years. Obviously, it started with Mac's wife Teresa, who had breast cancer, and then it sort of became this whole big community thing, and it's kind of just the fight against cancer now. And so we'll get a little bit of that with our next guest, Susan Rogers, whose daughter is with us at the Hope Lodge. She's at the Hope Lodge taking care, and she'll be with us on the other side here. And it's a good message for everybody of sort of what you're supporting today and where we're at right now. It's pretty special stuff. Remember, you can head over to
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Email unsportsmanlike conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, offers exterior solutions that help you protect your number one investment. Whether it's roofing and siding or windows and doors, they're committed to excellence, quality, and outstanding customer service in every step of the process. When it's time to protect the exterior of your home, your choice is simple. Turn to who the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Check them out online and schedule a free estimate today. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
Hey fans, looking for the best seats without the hidden fees? Then you need to check out Tickets for Less. Whether it's Creighton games, Husker matchups, or big-time concerts and events, they've got you covered, all with no service fees. Now, you ready to score a deal? Use the code THEZONE at ticketsforless.com and save on your next event. You prefer to go mobile? Grab the free Tickets for Less app and shop with ease. Every seat holds a story, so find yours and save when you use the promo code THEZONE at ticketsforless.com and the Tickets for Less app today.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
If you're having problems in the bedroom, talking about it is the last thing you want to do. Same goes for hair loss, anxiety, or even depression. That's where HIMS comes in. Through HIMS, you don't have to talk about it. You can do something about it. Just go to hims.com/start, where you can find a variety of potential solutions for the problems men face every day and save up to 95% on generic alternatives. The entire process is 100% online, making it incredibly simple, straightforward, and above all, private. If prescribed, treatments made using clinically proven ingredients are shipped directly to your door in low-key packaging. So if you're experiencing ED, hair loss, anxiety, or problems with your general health, you don't have to go to the doctor, the pharmacy, or spend all day talking about it. Just go to hims.com/start and do something about it. Get started today at hims.com/start. That's HIMS.com/START.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
Hey there, Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Time now for another Outdoor Nebraska update. It's hunting time in the Husker State. For a safe season, remember to be totally certain of your target and your background before you fire that shot. In a moment, ask yourself, is the bullet flight path clear? Is that a legitimate target? And what am I going to hit if I miss my shot? Please be careful out there. If you'd like more information on hunting safety, go to outdoornebraska.gov. That's outdoornebraska.gov. From wildfowl to owls. Great time of year to step outside and watch wildlife. Many animals are still active, plus the leaves have mostly fallen, vegetation is set back, and we'll have some warmer weather. Maybe you'll hike a state park trail or head to a public reservoir to do that. Oh, and don't forget your camera. Oh, it's on your phone. That's right. I'm Greg Wagner.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back for the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hudson with you at the Hope Lodge, Nebraska. We are getting ready for our Pink Out game tomorrow. It's the Pink Out broadcast, our annual Pink Out broadcast. It's the 14th annual Creighton Pink Out game tomorrow when Creighton takes on DePaul at the CHI Health Center. So the donations today will be to the Hope Lodge, which we're at right now, the American Cancer Society Hope Lodge, Nebraska. And so we figured it'd be a great idea and a great time to talk with, one of the beneficiaries of the Hope Lodge, Susan Olson, who is the mother of a cancer patient here is with us. Susan, thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for inviting me to be here.
Of course, anytime. So let's get your background and let's get the story here of sort of how this process started for you, and then leading up to your family's time at the Hope Lodge.
Well, to start out with, we're very grateful for this place. That is the one word that my daughter came up with that I wanted to relay to you. My daughter had been telling her doctors and going to urgent care for almost 2 years that she was tired and just felt weak and didn't have the strength that she had, and was always like she had a cold, and they kept saying, "Oh, you're stressed, it's."
Yeah.
And one day she went to pick up my granddaughter at school and collapsed, and the urgent care doctor discovered, and it had already reached stage 3 of Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Wow.
And so she had called and said, hey, I could use some help. And my husband and I arranged to get her and bring her and the granddaughter back with us. And so for quite a period of time, we were traveling back and forth from Wyoming to come here to the Buffett Center. And at the time, we had been staying in a hotel short trips. And then when we found out last October it was going to be a very extended trip,
Needed some help.
we reached out and needed some help. And thanks to a couple of wonderful folks there at the cancer center, gave us some phone numbers, said this is what you need to do, and blessing from God. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate this. There's a roof over our head. It's the things that you don't think about at home. A kitchen, a refrigerator area. You don't worry about expenses. That was the big thing when it's a 10-hour drive for us one way.
Yeah.
During great weather. We've done it recently and it took us 13 and a half.
No kidding.
It was
We've all made that drive.
the
before.
white knuckle drive. Yeah. But you don't think about it unless it has hit you or someone in your family or someone that you're very close to. But the emotional and financial strain and stress that you go through to make sure that you're providing for your family member and try to make them not worry about it. And the one thing you'll realize is that the person in your family that has the cancer continues to apologize. And I said, it's okay. We make it work. No matter what, 4, 40, 140, you're always our child. We are there for you. And the biggest thing that has been our blessing has been the Hope Lodge. Our last visit was in October, the entire month of November and into December. And we have a family away from home. We've met amazing people, all walks of life, and their stories are so different, but the same. We didn't see it coming. We don't know what to do. We have a family at home. We have a business. We have things to take care of. And the Hope Lodge, I can't stress how much I would ask folks to donate and support, because without this, I don't know what we would have done. And I've talked to others and they've said the same thing. Depending on your treatment, my daughter has Hodgkin's lymphoma. But whether it's that or pancreatic or breast cancer, the stress and the being away from home, but knowing that you have somebody that is here that gives you and the patient and extended family hope and caregiving, it's amazing. I can't tell you what a blessing this place is.
I'm so glad you hit that part, because I think that was one of the things that I was really curious about and I wanted to ask you about. Just obviously, there's the financial piece, but it's the peace of mind thing that I think keeps coming back to me, not just for you, but also for your daughter, who you mentioned is feeling all this guilt and stress about all these people coming together to help her, which is just a normal reaction, normal family thing for you guys. But just the peace of mind that as much as you possibly can, that this place sort of can offer you.
And like I said, grateful. I would reach out to anybody. You ask anybody at home. I mean, we live in a very rural community, and they were like, oh, it's like a vacation. No, it's not a vacation.
No.
But like I said, the love and the caring and the understanding that we get from the folks here, and the ability to reach out to others. And another amazing thing is we have these wonderful groups of people that bring in meals to us. We've had soup and salad dinners, lasagna, pizza parties, and they're great. You just go sit down and it's like, look, somebody else has cooked. I'm just here. And in our situation, I often take my daughter the meal. She's not always able to come sit. And I have noticed that, and of course, there's a lot of folks that are like that. You just can't sit up. You can't get downstairs. You can't, but they're like, oh, take this. I'll have this.
Yeah.
So again, there's that word grateful.
Yeah.
You just, so encouraging folks to reach out and never say never, because my daughter was a workaholic. I mean, she loved her job, and she worked very hard and studied and never sick, very healthy. And then you just don't expect it.
Sure.
You know, but I want to thank you folks, because being able to reach out and let others know that there's somebody here for you.
It's totally our pleasure to be a part of it. That's for sure. I mean, you mentioned the community aspect of it too. You're from Wyoming, where, I mean, I'm sure you've met people from all around the country. It's at this point, right?
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. This is the one place that, through talking to other people, is the hub because of what's available here for care and hope and treatment. You know, we have a cancer center about 2 hours from our home, but it's a fairly new one. They're not set up for the very extensive yet. You know, it's in the toddler phase, and they send their folks this direction. And a lot of them don't know. And when I was talking to one of the doctors there that we kind of use as he's a go-between to help us with the immediate when she's able to be home. And I'm like, put the word out. You've got to tell these people it's there. We were talking to a lady in the waiting room one day, and she said, I don't know how we're going to handle hotel food. Yep. And let's face it, 6 weeks on fast food is not good.
It's not right. No, not for anybody.
You know, so yeah, you meet people from all walks of life, all over the country. And this is what brings us together.
Yeah.
Because it is hope, it's caring, it's understanding, it's a blessing. And we are very grateful. And I say, don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions, because that's where the understanding comes from. And that's where you realize that even as one person, you can do something that helps. And even if it's something as maybe in your mind as simple as a case of water, pick it up and drop it off here, because that makes a difference. Every little thing makes a difference.
Box of Kleenex, toilet paper.
You bet. Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Because you don't think about it every day at home, but when you're traveling and you're not home, all of those little things add up. And we don't worry about that here. We are well taken care of. And like I said, I'm grateful and blessed.
Susan, thank you so much for sitting down with us and telling your story. If I imagine that when you, first of all, you tell your daughter that you were on the radio today. So that's maybe a little bit of something. I don't know if sitting down with us is like very cool, but I guess we can pretend like we're cool. But we're trying. You're providing a little bit of hope for her, I think. And just supporting and
I did tell her,
the story.
And she said, like I said, her word was to let you know that she's grateful.
Awesome.
Very grateful.
Awesome. Well, send her our best for sure.
I will. Thank you much.
And we got people reaching out right now as well. So, Susan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And good luck. All right.
Thank you.
That is Susan Olson, whose daughter is a patient here at the Hope Lodge. And of course, there's testimonial right there about as good as anything. We'll take a quick time out here from the Hope Lodge and be right back on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Will this be a tainted championship? In my opinion, it will be, yes. The fact that you had a coach literally sit out 6 games this year, this type of a scandal actually affected the play on the field to some degree. To what degree, we don't know. This scandal has to do with affecting the outcome on the field.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Dense fog advisory in effect again Friday morning. Watch out for slick spots during the morning drive with temperatures hovering around the freezing mark. Visibility improves in the afternoon, remaining cloudy with highs in the mid-30s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, Trying to find a needle in a haystack? Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
Now, during Staples Print Pig Sale, get $20 off your print purchase of 100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of 200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of 300 or more. So the more you print at Staples, the more you save. To demonstrate, print at Staples, you save. But if you print at Staples, you save. See how that works? Staples Print Big Sale. Print more, save more, up to $100. Ends 2/10. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Looking for a new pipe or premium THC flower? Go to any 42 Degrees location and pick from the largest selection of quality glass pipes and premium THC flower. With buy one, get one 50% off sale, there isn't a better time to stop in and talk with our knowledgeable, friendly, and professional staff. 10 convenient locations and buy one, get one 50% off sale. Why shop anywhere else? 42 Degrees. Buy your mom's house.
Omaha Maverick Hockey is the hottest ticket in town and is 5th in the country in attendance. NCHC play is heating up as Minnesota Duluth, Colorado College, and North Dakota enter the intimidating confines of Baxter Arena. Also, Maverick men's basketball is in 4th place in the Summit League and making a run at the league title as they take on 2nd place St. Thomas and 1st place South Dakota State. Let's pack the Baxter. Get your tickets now by calling the box office at 402-554-MAVS or at omavs.com/tigs.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. That's ziprecruiter.com/RADIO. ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. I mean, what a great story there from Susan Olson, whose daughter's going through cancer treatment here in Omaha. We were just talking to her a little bit during the break about her trek, to get here. Their trek to get here. I mean, it's you ever been to the Black Hills?
I haven't actually. No.
Yeah, so that's a drive.
Mm-hmm.
It's past that. And so it's tough to get here, and it's tough to stay, obviously, as well. So what a great testimonial there for the Hope Lodge, Nebraska. All right, let's sort of reset here. Once again, head to cancer.org/pinkout or drop by with us here at the Hope Lodge. We'll take, as Susan just said, It is, Kleenex donations and paper towels and toilet paper. This place is a home, so everything could go to pretty good use here.
I saw him wheeling in using the dolly, quite a few stacks.
That's good.
Earlier.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
We need to keep up in the ante on that one. Do that, and then of course the Creighton Pinkout game will support the Hope Lodge as well. Which what a great destination for your money and donations, and of course thoughts as well. So to reset here, we're going to be joined by Bryan Christopherson here in a second, Joe. If you could pull that one up. We talked to BC this morning about Husker basketball, which has a big one on the road tomorrow against Maryland. Big time opportunity for them to get one on the road. I think we've decided collectively that they're pretty good at home. Somebody on Peacock decided that they'd win the national championship if they'd be on their home floor. Shout out to Jordan Cornette for that one. That was pretty good.
High praise.
It's a good line. But they'll go on the road, not at PBA this weekend. So a big opportunity there for them. Stephen Ashworth will join in a couple, let's call it about a half hour to an hour here. Talk about his development. I had this whole big thing on, what was it, Wednesday morning, Josh? I think he's totally changed the trajectory of this team. I think he's, his development and his improvement and what he's been able to give Creighton on the defensive end has improved their trajectory. If he can get it going on the offensive end, Creighton, all of a sudden the ceiling becomes even higher for them. So he'll join the show. We'll talk about that in the noon hour. We might talk to Sipple. I can't guarantee you that.
Who knows? On a regular week.
We'll talk to Julie Murray, the vice president at Methodist Hospital and American Cancer Society board member. She'll join us at about 1:15, and then Mac will be in here for the crossover in the afternoon. So plenty to come on this Friday. Let's talk some Huskers football and basketball with Husker 247's Bryan Christopherson. That is here on the Connor Happer Show.
And we're joined now by Bryan Christopherson of Husker 24/7. BC, hello. Happy Friday. How are you?
I'm doing swell. How are you doing?
Good. I think we have to talk basketball. We
we can do that.
We're, you're a football guy. I'll call you a football guy anyway, but your attention, I think, has been diverted over to basketball over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully over the last couple of weeks and into the next month or two here.
Yeah, it's been a fun team to cover. With what, obviously they started off strong, but the non-con wasn't, you weren't going against the heaviest hitters. So you kind of wondered what's that going to look like when they get to Big Ten. And the thing I give Nebraska credit for, to this point, is there's been a couple moments where they get knocked down. You wonder if they're going to get up. And they have, and they've punched back. It happened in December after those two losses, to Creighton and Minnesota. They come back, and then, last week was really, I think, a pivotal point in the season when you're 3-4 in the league. You lose at Rutgers, kind of in a deflating fashion. You don't know what Juwan Gary's status is, and then you go home and you win 2 games without him. And I have a career performance from Rink Mast along the way, and Sam Hoiberg doing all sorts of things on defense, CJ Wilcher off the bench. So everybody's kind of pitching in. And now, as Rink Mast rightfully said in the post game, he was asked about himself, and he turned the answer to team and going on the road and said, we got to go get one on the road. That's the thing now. And so obviously it's going to be a tough test here at Maryland, who's obviously sky high itself after winning at Iowa on Wednesday.
I think, pretty comfortably, like you just mentioned, you could call them just a straight up really good home team. They only have one loss at home this year, and it's expected that they're going to be able to take care of business, even though they have a couple big games coming up with Wisconsin next Thursday. That'll be a huge home environment for them. But how elevating do you think it would be for this team, not only for them, but I think for the way people sort of think about them as well, to go out on the road to the East Coast and get one tomorrow morning against a team who, just beat Iowa this week in Maryland, and they did that on the road as well. I feel like that would kind of change, I don't know about the outlook, but it would definitely change how people sort of feel about them and their confidence level in them going forward.
Exactly. And I don't think you can just say, they're going to end up going perfect in Big Ten play at home, but they could go close to it. Now they're going to have a tough one with Wisconsin next Thursday, but along the way, to add to that, so you're like a 11, 12 plus win team in the league, you obviously got to steal a couple on the road. And Maryland is an opportunity to do that. Obviously, they've got Jameer Young, who's averaging 20.8 points a game and 4 assists, and he dominated late against Iowa. He's going to be a tough player to guard. Bryce Williams is going to have a big assignment on him, I think, using his length, and Sam Hoiberg will be in on that. But then there's Julian Reese, and he's got 9.8 rebounds a game. So they've got some weapons. I'm actually kind of surprised Maryland doesn't have a little bit better record than it does, to be honest, for the type of team they've had. But Maryland also is looking at this game as we've got to protect our home court because we've got momentum, and now we're starting to build a resume that can work toward March. And so this is going to be big on both sides of it. But to your question, yeah, Nebraska's got to go get a couple away from home. And also, if you look at the schedule, this is a tough stretch. That's why Ohio State was so crucial, because the next 4 games, you're playing at Maryland, you host Wisconsin, you're at Illinois, you're at Northwestern. And then after February 10th, there's a 7-game finish where it looks pretty appealing on paper for Nebraska. But can you get to that point still in a strong spot? Honestly, Connor, if Nebraska were 6-7 on February 10th, which would mean they won only one of their next 4, I still think they could make a really strong run to the finish line. But what would be awesome for them is if they could keep their head above that 500 mark, win at least 2 of these 4. They can think bigger than that, but I'm talking on the outside looking in. You win 2 of those 4, you're above 500, and with that kick stretch and the way it looks, against those teams, I think they can really do something with that. So Maryland would be one of those where you would think they could get that one possibly if they play really well.
You mentioned the team part. I love the fact that it's not all revolving around Keisei Tominaga. It's definitely still going to be about him and at least partly about him as they finish things off here. But it's everybody sort of stepping up and having these contributions. And you talk about Mass and his career game the other night, and Juwan Gary will come back from injury, it sounds like, whether it's tomorrow or soon. And then you wrote about CJ Wilcher as well, whose consistency shooting the basketball, I think, has elevated this team, and just his consistency and his approach as well. It's kind of everybody as you look around the roster right now. There's obviously people that stand out, but you could look at each one of those guys and say, man, they sort of need them all. That's a really good formula for them, I think.
Yeah, I can't say enough about CJ Wilcher, because he's somebody who has started in his Husker career, and he's been in that role. And I think even after last offseason, maybe people on the outside wondered, okay, is he still part of the plans? Will he be here next year? Not only is he here, he's just vital for this team when he comes off the bench. And honestly, as good as Rink Mass was the other night, and he was the show stealer, of course, with his 34 points. If Wilcher doesn't come in and do the stuff he did at specific times, that game would have been a grinder to the end. He came in the first half when they were down 8 or 9, and he gets them 5 points immediately. He comes in the second half when they're up 46-43, and he hits 2 threes, and it's 52-43. He was the separator in that game for Nebraska in many ways with his 16 points. And so he's been shooting it really well. He's just got to keep sort of with what his role is and embracing it. But yeah, everybody's kind of doing their thing. Sam Hoiberg, shot the ball 2 times on Tuesday night and was plus 23 in his plus minus.
He made a huge impact.
Yeah, he was just he's just a pest on defense. I mean, he's 6'1", 180, doesn't have the size some of the guys he's guarding do, but he gets in their face, and he is always chasing guys off the line, and he's been really impressive as well. So everybody's got to sort of do their thing, because Gary, when he does come back, if it's Saturday, which you'd hope maybe, you also wondered, is he going to be able to hit the ground on a sprint, with how he plays after being out a little bit. So they've had some obstacles along the way to this place they're at. So that's where I give them credit, is they haven't let those be season records to this point. Instead, they've kind of punched back.
Nebraska football wise, BC, I guess what should we be watching for? What's on the horizon for them? They head into, they're into winter conditioning as school sort of restarts back up here. There's another big recruiting weekend this weekend. The staff is, almost entirely, I think, come together at this point for what they want it to look like this coming year. So what are we watching for in the next couple weeks and I guess month or so before, or I guess 2 months before spring ball fires up?
Yeah, I think one of the things, of course, will be if you get a couple more names in the 25 class, if that possibly happens, off some of these visits, if someone raises their hand, but also just the relationships they're setting with that. But I think the other part that's going to be interesting is, I don't know if we're going to have a thing with Glenn Thomas or what the timetable is on that stuff, but I think getting to know him and sort of maybe a preliminary idea of how Rule sees that picture when he does his next media availability, I think it's going to be very interesting, sort of how he's setting up his staff, not only his coaching staff, but his staff behind the scenes, with analysts and recruiting guys and everybody who's involved in the operation. But in particular, there's going to be a lot of questions of just intrigue about Glenn Thomas joining and what does that mean for how him and Marcus Satterfield and Donovan Ryle and all those guys work together as coaches. Obviously getting Glenn Thomas's thoughts when we can on his quarterbacks, Ryle and Kalen, I think are going to be pretty interesting. So it's that sort of stuff, I think, is what maybe February is going to be about. And then you're moving your way into spring ball, and it's going to be a fascinating spring ball because there's so many, not just Riola, there's just a lot of early enrollees, and Brunts on our Husker 24/7 site the other day had all of them and sort of what their background is and what they're trying to do. I mean, we're talking 17, 18 guys here that are going to be curiosities that are just getting their careers going. And so I think we're going to be pretty busy with storylines throughout March and April, which is always good. Are
we still on Dana Holgerson watch, or where do we stand with that? And obviously, I think that the impact sort of is minimized with the hire that Nebraska made with Glenn Thomas. So that if he comes in, he's not on the full-time staff. I guess what's your thought on that right now?
I haven't heard much about it lately. That doesn't mean it's not something couldn't happen. I just haven't heard it much about it. And, obviously there was a big buzz when he was at the wrestling match, and he's a man, I'm sure, with options too. You got to think about the guy who's been a head coach for, decade plus. He'll have opportunities. I always thought, I hope I said it on the air because I thought this from the beginning. I said on our board, I didn't ever think he was in position for that QB job or QB coaching job. I thought it was going to be if he came to Nebraska like an analyst or something like that. And so obviously that stuff could still be on the table. I think whether he is part of it or not, I do think as we go forward, watch how Rule operates with that, because he's going to bring in, I think, when he ever gets the opportunity, guys who have experience in those analyst roles, because they can do more coaching now. They're supposed to be able to by some of the rules that are going into place. And there's a hope that you can really use those guys maybe even more than you did in the past. So I really suspect they're going to look, as time goes on, for guys who have been around the block and can give a lot of wisdom to the room. Even if they're not a full-time coach, they could still be pretty important. Whether that's Holgerson or not, I don't know at this point, but I think, as we've seen, Rule is always thinking about how you can have an edge with your support staff and what surrounds your other coaches.
I've been asking people this week, and this is more of a general Big Ten question, as we've seen a lot of changes now as we head into 2024 with the league expanding with the 4 West Coast schools and no divisions. And now another wrench has been thrown into it with Jim Harbaugh leaving. I don't know that was unexpected, but now it's here, and Michigan has to sort of maneuver through those waters, and who knows what to expect of them. And they just won the national championship this year. When
when you look at the conference next year and how significantly it's changed over, basically overnight as you go into next week, like our next year, what can that mean not only for Nebraska, but just for the league and the way it sort of sets up?
I mean, for Nebraska, first off, just work on perfecting who you are, like who you exactly want to be, your identity, so that when these other teams who are trying to figure out how their identity fits in this league, especially from the West Coast, come in, and you play them, you're ahead of them because you know what it takes to beat certain teams in this league. You're starting to figure that out, and hopefully more of those wins start to come. Well, they're getting used to it in the same way Nebraska has had to get used to the league. So I think you got to try to really use that to your advantage. I like the way, this is probably going away from your question a little bit, but I like the way that Rule has stated, like seeing it as an advantage, like, hey, we're centrally located here, for other teams, they're going to have to travel all over the map and do all this stuff. We don't, for us, it's, not as much either way. You're in the middle, so there's some advantage to that. We're going to see that as a positive and just run with it. And honestly, that's what I like right now about what is happening, not just with football, with Husker athletics in general. I do think they've taken the mindset, like there's chaos right now in college sports and with conferences and where everything's settling. But you can't control all of that. What you can control is what are the guidelines and what are the rules that everybody's operating by now, and how can we do the best with it? And not instead of just like complaining about what it is and saying, oh, I wish it were 1997 again, and like how college sports were operated. I think they're taking a forward-looking approach and saying we got to be one of those programs in all sports that sees what the future is or is trying to figure out what it is, and we're going with it instead of trying to row against the current. So I think that's I like the fact when I hear Trev talk and Rule talk, especially, that you sense that they're like not going to complain about it. It's just like, here it is. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, no doubt. I sense like a confidence from them, but it's not, and maybe they feel like what is changing can play into their hands a little bit, or at least that's the way it sort of comes off. But also, I mean, I think the confidence, like you just said, it kind of comes from, yeah, we have a pretty good idea of what we're going to be and what we're trying to be. So, that certainly helps going into big time changes in the league coming up next year. Bryan, enjoy your weekend, my friend. Thanks for doing it. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Cotter.
That's Bryan Christopherson of Husker 24/7, talking a little football, talking a little basketball. I mean, one of the things, assuming there's no conference realignment this summer or anything like that.
Big assumption on your part.
Yeah, or NIL legislation or, whatever that is. I think we'll, if everything stays status quo as it is right now, like I said, like you said, Josh, we're changing a lot, so maybe not. But I think the topic will probably be, what this league looks like, the adjustment level the new four will have to have. What happens in the absence of Michigan? Is there an absence for Michigan? They lose a lot of guys off that team. Keep that in mind. Ohio State, I mean, we could save this for later, but like if Ohio State doesn't do it this year, that it's over for Ryan Day.
Yeah, I don't know how long he can hold off the pitchforks.
Oregon probably is the top contender to Ohio State at the moment.
Definitely
in the Big Ten Conference,
and they play each other at some point.
And there's a whole bunch of movement in that middle. Coaches coming in and out. It's a fascinating landscape. No divisions and wonky schedules as well. Speaking of wonky schedules, the Big Ten has a plan. I have a plan, as Tommy Boy would say, for their basketball schedule next year. We can discuss that during the show as well. Coming up, let's reset here. We'll come back and we discuss a little bit of that. Also, the conference championship games this weekend. If anybody wants Bill Belichick, and there's some Nebraska budget stuff that we can touch on as well. All to come on a Friday edition of the Connor Happer Show, live from the American Cancer Society Hope Lodge here on 1620 The Zone. But first, this is Happer. And if you've been watching the NFL playoffs from the sidelines, there's still time to get in the game with FanDuel, which is America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers bet this Sunday's conference championship games with $150 in bonus bets guaranteed, and all you have to do is place your first $5 bet. FanDuel has many different ways for you to pick up a W. Maybe you just want the money line on the San Francisco 49ers. You set it and forget it. $5, $150 in bonus bets. Or maybe an even more sure bet. Christian McCaffrey will score a touchdown in this game. Once again, just take it to the bank. So you can follow that, or you can go bet against my confidence if you'd like to. All available to you on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Get started with $150 in bonus bets guaranteed while placing your first $5 bet. FanDuel.com/Happer. Join today, FanDuel.com/Happer. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over, present in Iowa. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued does not withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
Betting on your favorite sporting events just got a whole lot easier. Warhorse Sportsbook is now open in Omaha. Save yourself the drive across the river and put your money where your mouth is at Horseman's Park, 6303 Q Street. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Hey fans, looking for the best seats without the hidden fees? Then you need to check out Tickets for Less. Whether it's Creighton games, Husker matchups, or big-time concerts and events, they've got you covered, all with no service fees. Now, you ready to score a deal? Use the code THEZONE at ticketsforless.com and save on your next event. You prefer to go mobile? Grab the free Tickets for Less app and shop with ease. Every seat holds a story, so find yours and save when you use the promo code THEZONE at ticketsforless.com and the Tickets for Less app today.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on Carol. She's more focused on hitting a high note than the car in front of her. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-285-5280. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-285-5280 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-285-5280 to see if you qualify. That's 800-285-5280.
At Churco, Chef Dave blends the distinctive food of Northern Italy with the melting pot of American cuisine to bring a unique fusion of style and flavors to West Omaha. From fresh pastas handcrafted daily to house-dry aged steaks, focaccia bread baked daily. Churco is perfect for date night or any night. Churco features crafted unique cocktails, an extensive Italian and American wine list, and a robust happy hour Tuesday through Sundays. Churco, located at 192nd and Q and CIRCOOmaha.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
If you're having problems in the bedroom, talking about it is the last thing you want to do. Same goes for hair loss, anxiety, or even depression. That's where HIMS comes in. Through HIMS, you don't have to talk about it. You can do something about it. Just go to hims.com/start, where you can find a variety of potential solutions for the problems men face every day and save up to 95% on generic alternatives. The entire process is 100% online, making it incredibly simple, straightforward, and above all, private. If prescribed, treatments made using clinically proven ingredients are shipped directly to your door in low-key packaging. So if you're experiencing ED, hair loss, anxiety, or problems with your general health, you don't have to go to the doctor or the pharmacy or spend all day talking about it. Just go to hims.com/start and do something about it. Get started today at hims.com/start. That's HIMS.com/START.
Save the date and bring your appetite. The 4 days of Shrimp Fest at Shucks Fish House starts Sunday, January 28th with 7 different flavors of shrimp to choose from for only $5 a dozen. 3 Omaha locations. Get the skinny on their shrimp at shucksfishhouse.com.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
Welcome back for the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you at the American Cancer Society's Hope Lodge, Nebraska, right here in Omaha. The Hope Lodge provides a free home away from home for cancer patients and their caregivers who must travel to receive their life-saving treatment. We talked to a person who meets that exact demographic, Susan Olson, who joined us just a little bit ago on the show, which was a fantastic testimonial to the Hope Lodge and a pretty good way for you to listen and get inspired to send some donations in, I think, as well.
To what we're doing here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Guests are never charged a fee for staying at the Hope Lodge. Community support and donations contribute to 100% of the operations needs, which is amazing here at the Hope Lodge. That's where we are today. That's where Unsportsmanlike Conduct will be at this afternoon as well. We'll talk to Stephen Ashworth coming up here in about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll roll the dice and see if we can contact Stephen M. Sipple.
Place your bets, everybody.
It's really going to be tight. I genuinely don't know what we're looking at today. So we'll find out on that in a matter of time here. Let's talk some college basketball for a second at large. First of all, mentioned it during the previous segment. This is reported by John Rothstein today, Omaha, somewhere in the middle of America, Counting Crows - John Rothstein. The Big Ten is planning to stay at 20 league games when the league expands to 18 teams and add UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington next year. Multiple sources told College Hoops today. The conference is also only planning to have 15 teams participate in their conference tournament starting next year as well. John previously reported that momentum was growing to have 14 or 15 teams in the Big Ten tournament when the league added the 4 West Coast schools. Josh, I have to go full Zach Galifianakis at the blackjack table, trying to figure out how to reverse engineer a 15-team single elimination bracket.
I was trying to do that.
How do you do that? Is it easier than I think? Is it harder than I think? I haven't had a lot of time to think about it yet. But 15 seems like a super odd number to me. It's definitely an odd number.
It is.
But the first 5 get buys, and then could you do it this way where the first 5 get buys, the middle 5, or I guess double buys, right? The second 5 are playing on the second day, and then the third 5 are playing on, but that's an uneven amount of teams, so you have an uneven amount of games, so you slice them in. Josh, help me.
I'm looking at a 15-team single elimination bracket.
That looks like a double bye. So that'd be a bye for the 1 seed, and then everybody else plays on the first day. That's not how they would do it. They would give the top 3 or 4 a double bye.
Oh,
and because that's how the Big Ten tournament is right now with 14. So if you're adding a 15th, I genuinely don't know how that would look.
I'm not smart enough to figure this out.
I'm fine with having 18 teams in the conference, which is what you have, and still having 14 teams in the Big Ten tournament. That's totally fine to me.
Yeah, 15 seems like a weird number to settle on.
But they're working on some travel stuff. There's some talk about travel partners. So maybe, Nebraska and Minnesota or Nebraska and Iowa will fly out to the West Coast together, and then they'll split off and they'll go play their games at USC and UCLA, and then they'll flip them, and then they'll go up to the Pacific Northwest whatever it is. Yeah. So it's very odd, but here we go. We have now a basketball league with 18 teams in it beginning next year. Elsewhere, I just saw our boy Joe Lunardi's latest bracket on ESPN.
Little
bracketology here. Your eyes draw to the local teams immediately, and the first one that popped up was Nebraska. Nebraska, according to Joe Lunardi, Joey Brackets, is a 9 seed. They are up to the 9 line, Josh. That would mean they are comfortably in the NCAA tournament at this point. When you get back toward those 11s, that's when you talk about a little bit, a little bubbly in that situation. They'd still be wearing a dark jersey in the first game, but a 9 seed is trending up. You win this weekend, you win against Wisconsin, you trend up again, and you trend up one more time, Josh. You're wearing a white jersey at home. Not at home, in the possibly at home, I guess, in the NCAA tournament. How about that? Wearing a white jersey at home in the first.
Little carrot to dangle in front of him.
That's what Mac always says. He's like, hey, look, any team that's wearing a white jersey on the first day of the NCAA tournament, like, they're good with me. You're probably a top 25 team in the country at that point. So Nebraska is closely bordering on that territory with their recent run here. Creighton, a 3 seed in Memphis, where they would play weirdly West Coast schools only. Utah State, there's a fun one with Ashworth. St. Mary's, Creighton, and Washington. In there, Nebraska would play Texas Tech, according to Joey Brackets in Brooklyn. Do we look at the Omahas real quick just for fun? Omaha, somewhere in the middle of America.
Kansas,
Utah, Northwestern, Kansas, South Dakota State. A lot of people love that Kansas, South Dakota State situation.
That'd be a fun one in the first round. A little 15-2 probably.
Houston. So I'm trying to figure this out. If Houston is a 1 or a 2, I guess if Houston's the 1 and KU's the 2, that would definitely be the setup here, because Houston, the easiest travel, maybe not the easiest travel, but the closest one to them as far as the first round areas would be probably Omaha. Memphis is in there as well. But I think that would probably be the setup. The big team, Houston, KU would be here as well. Seton Hall in this bracket and South Carolina are some others that could be making a visit to Omaha. Today marks a momentous occasion for me, Josh, as it pertains to postseason watches of the NCAA tournament. Today was the very first day that I pulled up the bracket matrix.
Oh, hello.
Do we know what the bracket matrix is?
I'm familiar with the bracket matrix.
The bracket matrix takes stock of where each bracketologist has all of the teams seeded for the NCAA tournament. Currently, bracketmatrix.com is tracking 81 bracket submissions.
Wow.
For this year's group of bracketologists.
I tell you, when I was growing up, it was just Joe Lunardi.
It really was.
And you had to feast on that.
It really was. It was just Joe Lunardi. Creighton is in the tournament in all of them. They are an average seed line of 3.91, so basically a 4 seed. They are bracket matrix 4 at this point. Nebraska is in the field in 79 out of the 81 brackets.
Who are the 2 that we got to go kill?
I knew you were going to ask that question. Let's go ahead and look all the way down the line. Okay, just found one. The CPI. What's the CPI? The Coach and Cruise Show. Sounds like a podcast, Josh.
Yeah.
All right, some jackwagon podcast kept them off.
We hate them now.
I absolutely hate those guys. And Let's see. Further. My apologies on this one.
It's
Man,
a big matrix, people.
There's some people who got him on the 7 line, by the way.
7.
Let's go up. Jordan Schwartz. Jordan Schwartz.
I see a Syracuse photo in the banner.
Whose bio on Twitter is Yanks, Q's, Fed, tweets are my own.
I hate this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. He does not have Nebraska in the NCAA tournament at this very
That's
moment.
not why I hate him.
So we got a podcast and a random dude who don't have Nebraska in the field at this point in time. I'll take my chances, Josh.
As someone who's been on this team since day one, I would just like to congratulate them for making the tournament. Couldn't be happier for them. Hopefully they can get a white jersey, win a couple in a row. You'll turn some more heads after beating number 1 a couple weeks ago.
You know what they say, Josh?
What's that?
It actually slipped my mind because I was looking at some other stuff on the that's a quote of the year. Hey, you know what they say, Josh? What? I don't really know.
I don't remember. But they say it. They be talking.
A couple people got Nebraska on the 7 line. Now let's just look quickly here to see who we should love in return.
Oh yeah, who's going to get all of our clickies?
Who's our friends? HM is okay. Yeah, that decided to do nothing and then just freeze my page entirely. So that's good.
Sure, live radio working without a net here.
Well, I'll tell you, we'll figure that out. Oh, it's Haslametrics. I've actually heard of Haslametrics. I think
reputable metrics.
Now,
operation.
Here's the thing with Haslametrics, Josh. I believe Nebraska ball fans check me on this one. I believe Haslametrics is local. I believe Mr. Haslam is in the area somewhere. So keep that in mind.
Shout out to Haslam.
The one of the others that has him as a 7 is you're gonna like the name of this bracket, Novice Opinions Bracket.
Boy, that doesn't feed into my own narrative, does it?
Nope, not really. So there's your lookout. You know, USC has the who you rooting for, who you rooting for. We have the which bracketologist should you attack.
Go to their Twitters, go to their websites.
Yep, check them out. Yep, listen to their pods. Ask them why Nebraska's not in it.
Don't listen to their
Hey, we're
pods
taking
'cause they get
questions.
the clicks.
No, we were taking questions for our podcast, and then they, all the Nebraska ball tweet mob just runs in with the can't say
memes,
Tominaga
yeah.
memes.
You know they do a mailbag segment on that podcast, so spam it.
Has a chance to be pretty good. All right, coming back, we'll talk to Creighton basketball. Stephen Ashworth, who, like I said, he's been really, really good lately for Creighton. I think the offense is coming. We'll talk to him about his ride over the last couple of weeks or so here and what's to come. And, of course, the Pink Out game, because we are live for our Pink Out broadcast at the American Cancer Society, Hope Lodge, Nebraska. Please feel free to drop by, bring in paper donations. There's also a link where you can donate online, cancer.org/pinkout, and that will be all to this great place, the Hope Lodge, Nebraska. We'll be back with Stephen Ashworth on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Creighton Blue Jay basketball season has returned, and you can get your single game tickets today. Come out and support your Blue Jays all season long as they battle in the Big East. To purchase your tickets, go to Ticketmaster.com, go Creighton.com/tickets, or just visit the on-campus ticket office located at Ryan Athletic Center. For the full schedule and to stay up to date with the Blue Jays, visit GoCreighton.com.
News Talk 1290 Coil is the home of Omaha Maverick women's basketball all season long. Don't miss any of the Maverick action as they try to make their mark on the Summit League this season. Omaha Mavericks women's basketball is on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Put your coffee department in good hands with Host Coffee Service, providing direct delivery and loaned coffee equipment with service programs. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Do you want more control over your business spending? Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management platform designed to save you time and money. Ramp offers unlimited corporate cards with spend controls you can customize to stop wasteful spending before it happens. Ramp makes expense reports a breeze by automatically collecting receipts and matching them to the right transaction. You'll close your books in hours instead of days. Ramp allows you to see all of your company spend in one place, so you can make quick, informed decisions about your business finances. Plus, Ramp will share insights based on your spending to help you cut costs. Over 15,000 businesses have added up to 5% to their bottom line with Ramp. You can be one of them. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
Woodhouse GMC is bringing you more for the new year. With every new GMC purchase from Woodhouse, we're including 3 years of scheduled maintenance. Plus, with our current finance offers going on now, you'll save even more. Receive up to $7,000 off MSRP on the new 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 SLT. Woodhouse GMC. We are professional grade. With approved credit. Must have 2009 or newer trade-in to qualify. $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires January 31st, 2024. See dealer for details.
Hey fans, looking for the best seats without the hidden fees? Then you need to check out Tickets for Less. Whether it's Creighton games, Husker matchups, or big-time concerts and events, they've got you covered, all with no service fees. Now, you ready to score a deal? Use the code THEZONE at ticketsforless.com and save on your next event. You prefer to go mobile? Grab the free Tickets for Less app and shop with ease. Every seat holds a story, so find yours and save when you use the promo code THEZONE at ticketsforless.com and the Tickets for Less app today.
All right, welcome back. We're the Counter Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. I mentioned before, like the people like hearing this type of stuff. So Creighton had their Pink Out auction this week, where they auctioned off the jerseys and the warm-ups and the shoes and the everything. Basketballs, round of golf with Mac, that whole thing.
That's the real one, right?
By the way, I do have information on individually how much those all. Actually, we could play a little trivia game here real quick.
Oh goodness.
Okay, so Creighton just during that auction raised $36,000, just a little over $36,000. The highest jersey auction number sold for over $3,600.
Great.
And that was whose jersey?
I am gonna go Baylor's.
Baylor was third. Trey's number one.
Okay.
Then Kalkbrenner. Then Baylor. The round of golf with Mac went for over $3,000.
Heck yeah.
Which is pretty sweet. Mac's shoes went for almost little under $1,000.
I'll bet that's a big shoe.
It's a big shoe.
Yeah.
Big shoes.
Big shoes.
big shoes. They wouldn't fit me, but it'd be cool to have. They're gonna be pretty sweet shoes. Do you remember? By the way, I was looking at I was watching some clips. Oh, because Today's the 4th anniversary of Kobe Bryant passing away. And I remember I was walking into the arena that day, going to Creighton's pink out game, and they were playing Xavier. And so I went back and I watched some clips from that game this morning. Creighton was, of course, on their way to a regular season Big East championship, which then the tournament got canceled and everything exploded in front of everyone's face. And Marcus Zagorowski got hurt in the back end of the year. And I don't know, maybe it's good that we left that one out there for everybody. They would have been like a 2 or 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. But I went back and watched some clips from that game. Mac had coaches were still wearing suits during this time. He had
what a time
pink, like a tasteful pink, not like a hot pink, like a pink suit jacket on, like a pink suit.
Oh,
it was really sharp.
Okay,
that guy knows what he's doing. Dressing. Yeah. Maybe we should tell him about that when he gets here in the afternoon.
Where is the pink suit?
Another guy. Yeah, actually, that's a great question. Another guy who knows what he's doing, Stephen Ashworth, who is Creighton's point guard. And he's just been really good lately, and the offense is coming. You just know it. We talked to him. I talked to him yesterday, just sort of about his journey and a lot about rest and recovery and sort of the grind it's been in the Big East and things like that. And of course about the team and the pink out game, which is tomorrow. So let's get that to you right now. Here is Creighton point guard Stephen Ashworth.
And we're joined now on the 42 Degrees, the Source Hotline by Creighton Blue Jay point guard Stephen Ashworth. Stephen, how are you today?
Doing great today. Yep, loving where we're at, and life is good. Can't complain.
Hey, by the way, how many people have asked you lately, like a very pointed question, and how are you feeling?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly how they've asked it. How am I feeling? But I mean, I'm feeling good. Yeah.
You guys are running around. I mean, you got the Band-Aid over your eye, and everybody, ends the game with scratches all over their body. That's just life in the Big East, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a physical thing, and the conference is built for toughness, and so you got to be tough in order to survive.
So I wanted to get your sort of opinion on that. Like, you've been around for a while, and you've seen a lot of college basketball. And now that you've experienced, basically a half a season in the Big East, what is different? Obviously, there's the thing that everybody talks about in the physicality and how physical you have to be in order to compete in the league. But like from your point of view and comparing it to your past, like what is different about the Big East?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things are similar. I mean, it's still college basketball. There's high level talent in all levels of college basketball. And so, looking at it from the lens of what's different from maybe my past experiences, I'd say that like on any given play, there's just going to be a little bit more physical type of plays going on, whether it's a guard having to rotate to a big man to go box out or, switching in the post and then having to fight the fronts. Like, I think there's a lot more of those types of plays that are occurring just based on the types of offenses that are being run in the Big East. And so, that's something that I definitely noticed and, have, I think, adapted to and adjusted well to. And then, kind of just having that mentality that, you've got to be, the biggest, fighter out there if you're going to be able to, be on the court as maybe, a smaller guard. And so I think that just taking the pride in that has been, a good change and a good adjustment. And that's probably the biggest difference that I noticed from different aspects of college basketball.
Well, Mac mentioned it a couple nights ago after the Xavier game, and obviously it's been on full display recently. The adjustments that you've made. Is it more in an adaptation of the mindset of getting prepared for that, or literally while you're out there, just things being a little bit more difficult for you? Just take us behind what changed for you recently as you guys have gotten down into the stretch of the season here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's obviously an adjustment period of getting used to schemes, getting used to what's important to our success in winning, because teams do everything differently, and so there might be some things that became second nature to me with previous coaching staffs that I just I just knew that if I would get to these spots, this is where I'd be successful. And that's kind of based on the game plan and just the way that, that coach wanted the game to be played. And so I think adjusting to kind of a new scheme and a completely new team for me was kind of the biggest thing in the first few games, or maybe even, the non-conference schedule, was just trying to find my way of, on the defensive end, where do I need to get to be successful and to be a great defender on the offensive end? Where do I need to get to be able to be, a great offensive player for the team, and what is, needed on every given possession on both ends of the ball. And so I think that kind of, really doing a lot of homework in the film room and watching film on my own has been a huge asset and a huge reason why I would say I'm probably playing at a higher level and at the level that I expected myself to be playing the entire year. And so, that's a big key. But then at the same time, just you get more comfortable. And once you're more comfortable, you're more confident. You're not thinking as much, and you can just go play.
How have you dealt with maybe the frustrations of the shots? I mean, you were just talking about it a little bit. Maybe the shots not falling as much as you would want them to on the offensive end, but also staying engaged and doing what's asked of you, plus some on the defensive side. And then of course you have to sort of stay in the offensive game plan, even if the shots aren't falling. Like I imagine that's been an adjustment for you. Like, how have you sort of dealt with those frustrations this year?
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously going to have, highs and lows. And I think that's what is a true tell sign of somebody's character and somebody's, mental toughness is, are they able to stay engaged in the game, whether things are going great or whether things are not so great. And for me, it's a thing of trusting your training. I've spent, thousands and thousands of hours. And, I talk with, family, friends, close people, and it's like, a 6-foot point guard doesn't make it in the Big East without a high level of skill and talent. And so it's like, I have confidence in myself and my abilities, and I know that I've put in the work to be where I'm at, and that, when the moment's its biggest, I know that I can deliver. And, I feel like at times I have, and at times I haven't. And so it's just continuing to trust that training and stay, ready for any play, because your opportunity could come, at any moment.
Creighton guard Stephen Ashworth is with us. You, Trey Alexander, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Baylor Shireman, you guys are playing some ridiculous minutes right now. A lot of that comes from, when you play in a triple overtime game. We talked about sort of what that might do to your body and the adjustments that come with that. But on the other side, I mean, what is your chemistry level with those guys right now compared to what it might have been at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody can imagine that it's better, just because, with more time, more reps, more opportunities. And so I think our chemistry right now is in a really, really good place. I think that on the court, off the court, we're having a lot of fun being around each other, being together. And I think that it's, that's an important thing about a team that I think at times goes underlooked, is like just how much do you like being around those guys when it's not practice or a game. And I think that we have a special connection with this entire team, and, outside of kind of just us four, and that it's fun to be around each other. And so that always makes it a lot more enjoyable on the court. And then also at the same time, it's like you're on the road for 5 straight days the other week, and it's like you start the road trip with a disappointing loss, then you're able to stay together and then have a really, really good win at the end of that. And I think a lot of teams that don't like being around each other would probably lose that second game on a road trip like that. But, it's just a testament to the character of guys that we have on the team, and great job of the coaching staff of finding the right guys, recruiting the right guys, and building the right culture here at Creighton.
I think there's a lot of ways that sort of manifests itself. I go back to, you come back from a long road trip last week, and ending with the triple overtime game on the East Coast, and you fly back, and it's a one-day prep for Xavier, who's a completely different team. And you guys are, I was there at practice on Monday, and you guys are out on the floor for an hour. And of course you're getting shots up at the end of practice as well. Like, what does the time in between games look like right now, especially in that stretch that you just came off of, where you're playing a whole bunch of games in a short period of time?
Yeah. I mean, it's short days or long days, however you want to describe it. It's like short in the amount of time that you get to prep, but then, a long day of trying to get the body recovered, trying to get the mind right, and then also just studying, because you get back on a Saturday and then we're playing on a Tuesday. So, you wish you could possibly have an off day that Sunday, but you got to go right back to work. We got to be in the gym, walk through their stuff, watch film of the previous game, of the game that we're about to play. So it's a lot of mental work. I think that in conference play, you see how some days there's short turnarounds, some days there's long turnarounds for teams, and how do teams, prepare for that, and what type of game plans do they have? And then obviously without, knowing what's going to change in the game, you got to be ready to adapt and adjust as well. And so, this team's done a really good job of in between those game days of just making sure that we're locked in, that we're prepared, and that we're spending our time in useful ways, because it's like, yes, you got to get in extra reps to make sure that everything's feeling good, but at the same time, you got to make sure that your body's in a place to where you're primed and ready to go on game day. So you got to get that rest as well.
So we talked about collectively your guys' experience and chemistry just on the floor with each other, and how that may, affect you positively as well. Like, you could even, there's going to be games going forward, and there has been games already where you're in wild situations at the ends of games, and maybe you're tired, but it's also you know where each other are going to be, and who can sort of make the plays and who needs the ball as well. Like, how much does that experience sort of help you in these kind of crazy, wild, either end of game situations or end of half situations? Like, how has that sort of manifested itself so far this year?
Yeah, I think that it's a lot of it's a mentality of just pushing through that fatigue. And, I think it starts in the preseason even, in those long practices, a lot of extra conditioning in those moments, and then maintaining the body. We've got Jeremy Anderson, our strength coach, Ben McNair, and then, also massage therapist, Julie, that they do a great job of keeping our bodies primed for those moments. So then when we're in the game, it's just trusting that we're ready to go, that we've done the prep. And then, every single guy on the court is, a high level player, has aspirations to play after college basketball. And it's not like that on every team, right? Some guys, college basketball is the ultimate, and that there's nothing wrong with that. But to be able to play on a team where, there's guys that are in the gym every day with high individual aspirations, it just makes those team aspirations right on that same level, and so, there's confidence in every single guy going out there to be able to make a play, make the right read, or get us a bucket if you need to, which is really big in those clutch moments, whether it's we're down by 7 in the first half and we need to claw back to get it to 1 like we did the other night, or, down 7 again in the second half, and just finding a way and staying true to who we are, and then, never overreacting and never underreacting to a situation that we're in.
How do you guys balance sort of the big picture with, and what you just talked about, the goals and aspirations for you guys as a team, what you want to be at the end of the year, versus, this is, every single night is going to be its own separate challenge. And then you find yourself, sort of taking a deep breath at the end of the game. How do you sort of balance the one game at a time versus the big picture and what you guys want to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of, it's like life too. You take care of the small things, and the big things will work out.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's like, yes, there's those goals of, winning Big East championships, winning national championships, all those things. But at the same time, you never get to that without, tackling the film session, without, being locked in and walk through, without, finishing practice strong and communicating. And then it's like, okay, it's game day, all those goals don't happen if we don't win this game. And so I think that you can have those overarching goals, but it's more so about just being present and being in the moment, and that's good or bad. And I think that Coach Mack has done a really good job of reminding us in moments where maybe things aren't going well. It's like, hey, you can't do anything about that last play. Just be in the present, next play mentality. And I think that mentality takes those great teams, a long way, which, most of the time helps them accomplish their team goals.
Hey, how much do you just personally enjoy playing at home. It'll be another cool environment. We'll talk about that in a second, coming up on Saturday night. But I love those moments where, maybe you get a stop on the defensive end, or you get a 3, or you get a big bucket on the other end. And I watch your guys' bench, and then I watch you guys on the floor, and everybody is collectively sort of doing the, hey, get up, that type of thing. How much do you have you enjoyed playing at home this year and in that building in front of really good crowds?
Yeah, I mean, playing at CHI, it's next level for sure. From the graphics and the light show to the beginning to the crowd getting on their feet, like there's nothing like it, honestly. And to be able to fill an 18,000 seat arena on a nightly basis is a huge thing for a college program. And so, we love it. It's so fun to have, the crowd that we do. And, that place gets rocking, especially when the students are into it, leading it all. And then, getting the fans on their feet and making big plays. And so it's super fun, and the atmosphere and environment are special. And, we just got our pink shoes to break in, and, going to wear them in practice today. So I'm already looking forward to the atmosphere on Saturday for sure.
Well, we'll leave you on that then. This is your first run through the pink out game. It's been a big deal around here for a long time now. What have you been told about the game itself, and sort of what are you looking forward to most about it on Saturday?
I mean, I've seen it on TV before. I've been, a viewer of the game and thought it was super cool, and how the whole crowd is pink. The jerseys are pink, the auction leading up to it, everything like that to support, the fight against cancer. And so, personally, I've heard stories of, there's just not a dry eye in the building. It's a very emotional game, a very touching game to kind of remember in the heat of the moment, what's really important, right? Because at the end of the day, it is just the game that we're playing, but it's a game that brings a lot of joy to a lot of people, and to be able to, raise awareness for things like this and support a great cause through the game is something that's super special. And so, I can't wait. My family's going to be in town. I have a sister-in-law who just overcame a battle with cancer, and, an uncle who just recently passed away. So to be able to kind of, commemorate and honor them will be, a special thing for me and my family as well.
Awesome. We know they'll be on your mind on Saturday. Steven, thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate it. Good luck on Saturday, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Connor. I really appreciate you. Have a great day.
That is Creighton guard Stephen Ashworth, who, I think that's a pretty good message at the end of that. Not only with the environment and the special, sort of atmosphere that'll be for the pink out game tomorrow for Creighton, but also that nobody, and I hear Mac talk about this every time he talks about the pink out game, is like, nobody is unaffected by cancer. So it's a good reminder, and there will be reminders all over the place tomorrow. In fact, our entire show is a reminder today. Make a donation on game day by heading to cancer.org/pinkout, or come by the Hope Lodge today to support this awesome facility that allows patients and their caregivers to get their life-saving treatment and not have to worry about where to stay and where to go and how much they're going to travel and things like that. Hope Lodge has been a fantastic place. There are 32 rooms here and over 4,400 free nights of stay to cancer patients and their caregivers. That's just last year for the Hope Lodge Omaha. Very, very cool stuff. We will come back and let's roll it up. Let's roll the dice a little bit. We sticking, we holding, or we doubling down? Stephen M. Sipple will call his phone number. We'll see if he answers next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on The Crossover.
If we're going to treat weather like sports, why don't we have gambling on the weather?
Great idea.
Why are our friends at FanDuel not setting an over-under on the temperature, and we're like weighted with bating breath all day if it's going to get up to
Over-under on temperatures is a great idea.
Plus 350 for an anytime snowstorm.
A same-day parlay. Are we going to get both grapple and snow today?
Mornings with Sharp and Hanley. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
We are yet again going to sit in the mid-30s with gloomy conditions for the remainder of your Friday afternoon. A potential for fog redeveloping again tonight, leading into tomorrow morning with temperatures below freezing. May cause some slick spots on untreated surfaces with a high temperature tomorrow near 35 degrees. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery, KETV Newswatch 7.
If you're looking for a safe and reliable vehicle to get you through all types of winter weather and more, Baxter Subaru has you covered. Symmetrical all-wheel drive comes standard on nearly all Subaru models and provides you better traction, improved stability, and maximized performance on wet and snowy roads. Subaru's all-wheel drive also enhances off-road capabilities. Get incredible deals and great lease offers today on all our new Subaru models. Or shop anytime at BaxterSubaruOmaha.com.
Omaha Maverick Hockey is the hottest ticket in town and is fifth in the country in attendance. NCHC play is heating up as Minnesota Duluth, Colorado College, and North Dakota enter the intimidating confines of Baxter Arena. Also, Maverick men's basketball is in fourth place in the Summit League and making a run at the league title as they take on second place St. Thomas and first place South Dakota State. Let's pack the Baxter. Get your tickets now by calling the box office at 402-554-MAVS or at omavs.com/tigs.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
I'm Rick Betker from Omaha Car Care. We want to thank all our friends and clients who made 2023 a great year. And we hope you can help us spread joy to others. From now through January, we're hosting a boot drive for the kids of the Q school system. At this time of year, they could really use some warm boots. So if you could bring your new or gently used boots to any of our 4 locations, we'll make sure they get to kids in need. Thanks from Omaha Car Care.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
Steve Sipple,
Hut, hey!
The conversation gets even more uncomfortable, okay?
Omaha!
Steve Sipple on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
That is right. We are joined now on the 42 Degrees, the Source Hotline by Stephen M. Sipple of HuskerOnline.com. Sipple, hello. Good afternoon. How are you?
I can't complain about anything. What are you guys doing today?
We are out at the Hope Lodge for our Pink Out broadcast.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. Yeah,
Sounds
it
fun.
is nice. It's a lot of fun. We're here, and we're right in the middle of it all. Hey, Sipple, by the way, how'd your pineapples go over with the people that you brought back pineapples for?
Oh, with Margaret, it went well. I'd say really well, actually. That was good. I brought some cookies. Like I said, I brought some cookies back. Everything went over pretty well. And now I got to now I'm in Memphis right now. So I'm gonna have to go scouting around in Memphis for some stuff. But I got, a couple days here.
What are you doing? Do you mind asking what you're doing in Memphis?
No, just to get away. Every year, me and three of the grandkids go to NBA games, and this year we decided to go south. We've been to Denver. We've been to Denver a couple times, Oklahoma City, and then we just decided we're going to keep going south. The two of the grandkids love the Orlando Magic. They're big. They're literally like follow every day Orlando Magic fans, and they're playing Memphis tonight. So we're going to that game here in a little bit, 7:00.
Nice. Wow. And that'll be exciting.
Okay.
It's another opportunity for you to get to jump back into the NBA and get your NBA takes off.
Oh, I'm still good on that. I mean, I'm okay. I'm about following at about a 60% level right now, and it'll go up now as the months progress toward the playoffs.
How much, speaking of basketball, real quick, how much does Husker basketball have your interest right now?
That's a trick question.
No, it's not. They're good. I expect it to be high.
It is pretty high. I think, I'd say it's high. I mean, I think this is an NCAA tournament team, so I don't know. My schedule is still football oriented, but I anticipate that in the next month or so, I'm going to have to really turn my attention to that team more. It's not that I follow it pretty closely, and I'm interested as interested as I can be in college basketball. I'm not a huge college basketball fan, but it'll be something I'm paid to pay attention to it, and I'll start paying attention to it more now.
Hey, I know we mostly just talked about the life and times of Steve Sipple last week and your trip to Hawaii. I wanted to pick at some of the things that you've written this week from the people that you've talked to from your trip to Hawaii. Yeah. I guess what was sort of the big picture of what you took away and the things that you noticed in the practice leading up to it, whether it be revolving around Dylan Raiola or Carter Nelson or really anything else. Like there was some really interesting stuff to come out of that. What sort of hits your head first?
Yeah, there was. And most people kind of, I think, have been able to ascertain that Dylan Raiola he's ready to go. Like Sean Callahan always says to me, what world, I always kind of push back on that notion of he's the starting quarterback and that's it. Because I think everybody has to earn it. But I saw him in practices, 3 practices in the game. The key on a trip like that is you get to see a lot of practice, all of the practice. You see 2 hours of him, and yeah, he'll be the quarterback here. I mean, he's good. He's legit. He's all the stuff you hear about him is real. And I think the most impressive thing in Hawaii was how well he equipped himself as a leader and how serious he takes it. Learning, even in an all-star game, if a guy was out of place or didn't know what he was supposed to do, be it the left guard or the split out receiver, he could tell him what was going on and tell him what he was supposed to do. Which to me is pretty impressive in an all-star set. He learned it all, and it was a very limited playbook, but still, he's responsible for understanding all of it, and he did. And then there's just a picture of 6'3", 220, and with a very strong arm, seems to make good decisions, and it'll come down to that, frankly, because there's nothing physically that would stop him from being a very, very good college football player. To me, it'll come down to how well what kind of decisions does he make with the ball, how well he reads defenses. That's the sort of thing that will determine whether he's good or really, really good. The revelation, frankly. Oh, go ahead, Hap. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that the thing that came through to me whether it was you or Sean doing an interview with him or, just watching him play in the game, watching some clips from practice, the thing that came through to me was his demeanor, his general disposition, his calm, right? Like nothing seems to faze him. And I think we could overdo it with that, but it does apply to the situation taking over as the Nebraska quarterback. And I do think it fits with the coaching staff, and it fits.
Happer.
Sip, we lost Connor Happer. We'll try to get him back on.
Okay.
We'll go to break right now.
All right, I'll just wait. I'll wait.
Sounds good.
Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620, The Zone.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-659-8080. That's 1-800-659-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-659-8080. That's 1-800-659-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
I mean, Chuck E. Cheese is rough. I don't know if you've been there in a while. They look like they're trying to go to business and they can't.
All new material.
They filed for bankruptcy and they're still open. They called Blockbuster and they're like, how do you get out? We want out.
Nate Bargatze, Saturday, June 29th, CHI Health Center. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Outback Presents. Don't miss Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
Every Friday, we bring you discounts to some of your favorite businesses in the Metro. Now we bring you deals every weekend, too. Welcome to OmahaWeekendDeals.com. This weekend's deal is supersized with deals from Churco, Timber Creek Pizza, and 72 Table and Tap. 3 fantastic Omaha restaurants, all half off. You'll get $50 worth of food to one of these amazing restaurants for only $25. But hurry, a deal like this is going to go quick. Head to OmahaWeekendDeals.com to get yours.
Roofing, siding, and gutters. Make the right call with the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
If you're having problems in the bedroom, talking about it is the last thing you want to do. Same goes for hair loss, anxiety, or even depression. That's where HIMS comes in. Through HIMS, you don't have to talk about it. You can do something about it. Just go to hims.com/start, where you can find a variety of potential solutions for the problems men face every day and save up to 95% on generic alternatives. The entire process is 100% online, making it incredibly simple, straightforward, and above all, private. If prescribed, treatments made using clinically proven ingredients are shipped directly to your door in low-key packaging. So if you're experiencing ED, hair loss, anxiety, or problems with your general health, you don't have to go to the doctor or the pharmacy or spend all day talking about it. Just go to hims.com/start and do something about it. Get started today at hims.com/start. That's HIMS.com/START.
Save now during the Start Something New sales event happening now at Woodhouse, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Blair. Right now, lease the 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee Altitude for $399 per month. Grand Cherokee is the most luxurious vehicle in its class. Based on Summit model offerings and the latest Board's middle sport utility vehicle segment. Excludes other FCA US LLC vehicles based on the latest available competitive information. Lease for 27 months, 10,000 miles per year for well-qualified returning lease customers with approved credit. Tax title license extra. $1,999 down plus first payment and $299 doc fee to its signing. Stock number C240394. Offer expires 1/31/24. See dealer for details.
Omaha Maverick Hockey is on the road tonight against St. Cloud State. You can listen to tonight's game on 1290 Coil. Puck drop scheduled for 7:30. It's UNO versus St. Cloud State tonight on your home for Maverick Hockey. News Talk 1290 Coil.
Over the past few years, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected how we live our daily lives. Today, we also face a mental health pandemic that threatens our well-being as we attempt to rebuild our social networks and communities.
The pandemic has reminded us to value family, community, and our human connections. However, it has also left many of us feeling more isolated, confused, and alone, struggling to find meaning amid loss and uncertainty.
Today, 1 in 5 Americans experience emotional and mental health challenges, but many of us do not understand what we are facing or know how to ask for help.
At the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, we understand what you are going through, and we are here to help. Our vision is to build a mentally healthy nation for all. We work every day to eliminate stigma, combat mental illness and substance use disorders, and advance mental health. If you or someone you love needs help, you are not alone. Please visit mentallyhealthynation.org to learn more.
Zone and on 1620thezone.com. The Connor Happer Show live from the American Cancer Society's Hope Lodge here in Omaha, getting ready for Creighton's Pink Out game tomorrow. We get a tweet here from Jacob Padilla, who says, I feel like you guys should have just let Sipple fill the dead air after losing Connor. He is a professional radio man, after all. People do forget about that. Sipple, thank you. Welcome back.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. I was in the middle of observing Dylan Raiola's calm. Did that come off to you as well?
Yeah, he's that guy. I mean, he does seem. He's just that guy. I mean, he seems like he's just getting himself ready for it all. You know, he's getting himself ready for the storm. And it sounds sort of serious, but being a quarterback at a big time college program is it's serious business now. It's always been serious business, and now it's really serious business. I mean, it's literally serious business. They get paid handsomely, and there's a lot of expectations, and he is mature for sure. So, yeah, he seems to have it all kind of in the proper perspective, is the best way to put it. And he's coming to win the job and be that guy. So we'll see how it all shakes out. You know, Saturdays, as I always tell you, Happer, Saturdays tell you about everything you need to know.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You only get 12 tests in the semester, and those are the ones that you get. Let's go to the coaching staff moves here and the changes with Glenn Thomas coming in. What do you think as the title is co-offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach? Like, we'll probably find this out from Rule himself over the next couple weeks here leading into spring ball. But, like, what does that picture look like to you right now, just the setup and as far as the offensive coaching staff?
I don't know. I kind of hate to put it this way, but my knowledge on that topic is incredibly limited. It's limited to just looking at Glenn Thomas's background. I don't know how Rule plans to, how the offense works, who swings the final hammer and call them plays. I don't want to pretend like I know. It's all very new. It makes sense. I can't say I anticipated it though. I didn't anticipate Glenn Thomas having an offensive coordinator tag.
No.
Sometimes that's not all that meaningful. Sometimes it's really meaningful. I guess that's what we're trying to learn. If that's just a way to make him some more money, putting that OC tag on him, or if he's really going to be heavily involved. So I'm just as intrigued as you are, and I wish I knew more about it.
Yeah, it'll be a really, really interesting part to sort of figure out how that all looks. And I mean, Sipple, it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to keep everything like, I don't know, maybe at least publicly status quo as far as who's calling plays and what the whole setup is going to look like in that regard. But it is interesting that there's new body there, and there's there's an entirely new setup. I want to go back to your observations of Carter Nelson, which I think you took away some things from the trip to Hawaii. I think many people who were watching were like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Sipple, we had someone call the show yesterday and say, hey, did you hear Sipple say that he's Nebraska's best tight end right now? I don't know if you said that, but
I did.
Oh, you did say that. Please tell me why. Explain yourself.
Well, he's good. He's legit. I mean, he's a big time athlete now. I mean, he's a big time athlete. It starts with that. He's very competitive. He's a hotly competitive kid. He wants to prove himself. That was clear in Hawaii. He's very intent, for instance, on proving that he can block, because I think he hears people question that, because he comes from the 8-man world. I think a lot of it stems from that. So he feels like he has I think he plays like someone who has a lot to prove. But that's not to say he clearly enjoys the game a lot. And, he was playing that game, the Polynesian Bowl, had 13 5-star players. And again, I watched all the practices. Those teams had a lot of talent. I mean, it was really eye-opening to me, being able to stand on the field and watch all that talent. And it was, and he not only fit in, he was one of the better players. I mean, he was one of the better players out there. So, yeah, I mean, I just think he'll be one. I think they got, like, Bryan Munson wrote a game reaction piece, because me and Sean had to leave in the fourth quarter to get a flight. I mean, there was no real plan B on the flight thing. We would have had to come back, I'd just be getting back right now probably. So we had to get out of there. But Munson wrote in his follow-up game piece that they have to get something ready for Nelson. I mean, Bryan Munson was captured by it too. They got to get something ready in terms of plays, get him involved. He won't be here in the spring. But I agree with Bryan. I think they got to get something ready for him. He's ready to roll. He can make plays. And I think he might be their best guy. He's definitely the best athlete of those guys. And he's 6'5", 225, just can stand in front of you and do a backflip, that kind of thing, just freak, just kind of a freak athlete, but a very good football player. Catches the ball very well, very easy. What really struck me immediately was how fluid he is catching the ball and getting upfield. And then the second thing that captured me was how intent he is on being a blocker. He really wants to prove himself that way. So he's physical. He's a physical kid. He's got to get a little bit bigger in the upper body, I would say. And they've told him they want him to get up to 235, 240. I just thought he was one of the better players on the field, and there was a lot of great players out there.
Sipple, thanks for bearing with us, my friend. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people around here who watched the Grizzlies and the Magic tonight. So watch out for Steve Sipple and kids sitting courtside, right?
Yeah, it'll be we're close. We got really good tickets. We this time we decide we're gonna just pay the money and sit close. So yeah, we're not far away. I think we're 12 rows up.
Nice, very good. Enjoy it, my friend. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Happer. See you later.
That's Steve Sipple of HuskerOnline.com. There you go.
Fire up the league pass tonight. Watch Magic Grizzlies.
Can you please, if you do, please grab a screenshot. Dude, I love the move, though. Like, we don't get chances to go to NBA games around here very often.
No.
The last one I went to was 2 seasons ago, and I totally agree with them on, we don't do this very often. Splurge for the good seats. Splurge for the good seats. Take the kids, go. He wants to see the upstart Orlando Magic.
I imagine there were plenty of good seats available after the injuries that have decimated the Grizzlies roster this season.
Yeah, they're a little bit different than they were a couple weeks ago. Doc writes in.
Hi, Doc.
On
What's
the
up, Doc?
text line. How can Sipple make all these assessments by watching a couple all-star games? The kid has never played a true high-level football game in his life. It's it's hard. It's hard. Like, you see what you see athletically, and you know what the Nebraska football players look like right now, and you try to make educated guesses on how that would. For the record, I don't agree with him. I do not think that he would be Nebraska's best tight end right now. I think he's a super intriguing athlete. I think it might take some time. The part about him being super interested in blocking and getting that part of his game right is intriguing to me, because I think that'd be technically the thing that you'd be most worried about right off the bat. So maybe there's something in there for him. Like, maybe there's, like you said, maybe they got to get something ready for him. Maybe there's something there that he can accomplish in the offense. But I just think that curve is a little bit larger than maybe we're giving him credit for. At the same time, he truly is. If we've learned one thing from the All-Star circuit that he's been on, he's played in 2 All-American games, basically. He is a real life athlete.
Yeah.
Like, if there was ever any doubt about his athletic ability because he was dunking on kids from Ainsworth, which he still is, by the way. I think I saw a tweet from him today that he scored his 1,000th career point last night.
Yes.
In basketball. If we had doubts about that, then like that definitely translates nationally. That compares. The kid's his age.
He's project and prospect all at the same time.
Let's see here. Tony writes in on the text line.
Hi,
Could you
Tony.
see Carter Nelson as a Gronk or Kelsey style tight end that splits out wide? Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be the idea right off the bat. I don't know about Gronk or Kelsey style. He's not as big as those guys. Those guys are giant, like giant width, not just height. Width.
Yeah.
Like they're thick dudes. So like he's not there yet.
Neither had a massive profile coming out of college, though.
Well, you don't know how his body's going to develop. Like look at Fedoni. He's obviously bigger than he was in high school, but he's still really lanky. He's a different looking tight end than those guys are. If you would have asked me about Thomas Fedoni coming out of high school, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's a dude. If he gets real thick in the chest, and stuff like that, then he'll have a real chance to be one of those guys. He's just, different. So I think that was kind of the idea at that spot. You want a bunch of different bodies where you can, put them in different roles and they can block in line and block upfield and run routes and, do a whole bunch of stuff. So, yeah, there's no doubt about it. So, by the way, Cody on the text line, you could tell Sip was agitated. He did not close with a thank you and God bless you, Connor. Yeah, I think when we got him back, he was like, all right, hey, I'm going to get some Memphis barbecue. I'm out of here.
All right, Connor.
But we do appreciate him dropping by the show. We did get an email, by the way, from John on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, John.
Tell Sip he needs to go to Corky's Barbecue on Poplar Ave.
Okay.
So if you're ever in Memphis, take John's word for it.
Love a tip.
Tell him he needs to go to Corky's Barbecue on Poplar Ave. All right, let's take
pineapple.
Apparently the pineapples went over really well with this family, which is really good to hear. All right, we still have a busy 1 o'clock hour coming up for you guys. We still got to pick the conference championship weekend games. We will talk to Julie Murray, who is the vice president at Methodist Hospital and American Cancer Society board member. We will do that all coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Joey, we'll push the FanDuel for a couple more segments here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Shrimp Fest at Shucks Fish House starts Sunday, January 28th, featuring crispy shrimp, buffalo shrimp, shrimp cocktail, and more. All for $5 a dozen at all 3 Shucks locations. Get the whole scoop on their shrimp at shucksfishhouse.com.
It's history in the making as the Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, continue their inaugural season as they host the San Diego Mojo on Saturday, February 3rd at 6 p.m. World-class professional volleyball right here in Nebraska at the CHI Health Center. Secure your tickets and get to know your Supernovas by visiting supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Looking for a sweet treat that will transport you back into time? Look no further than Ted and Wally's. With 2 convenient locations in Benson and the Old Market, it's the perfect place to satisfy your cravings. Whether you're downtown or in Benson, make sure to stop in. And if you're catching a basketball game, why not indulge in a delicious dessert afterwards? With over 3,000 flavors to choose from, there's something for everyone. Don't forget to check out our social media for daily flavors. Ted and Wally's, serving up nostalgia at its finest for over 35 years. Visit tedandwallys.com for more information.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. If you're having problems in the bedroom, talking about it is the last thing you want to do. Same goes for hair loss, anxiety, or even depression. That's where HIMS comes in. Through HIMS, you don't have to talk about it. You can do something about it. Just go to hims.com/start, where you can find a variety of potential solutions for the problems men face every day and save up to 95% on generic alternatives. The entire process is 100% online, making it incredibly simple, straightforward, and above all, private. If prescribed, treatments made using clinically proven ingredients are shipped directly to your door in low-key packaging. So if you're experiencing ED, hair loss, anxiety, or problems with your general health, you don't have to go to the doctor, the pharmacy, or spend all day talking about it. Just go to hims.com/start and do something about it. Get started today at hims.com/start. That's HIMS.com/START.
Listen to the Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jays shoot around and overtime shows, the Creighton men's basketball pregame and postgame shows on 1620 The Zone. The Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jays shoot around and overtime shows are also presented by Union Bank and Trust. Hear the breakdown and coverage about your top-ranked Creighton men's basketball team before and after each game, exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone, the 1620 The Zone mobile app, and 1620thezone.com.
One of the great traditions in all of college basketball, the Creighton versus Cancer Pinkout game. Saturday coverage between the Blue Jays and the DePaul Blue Demons begins at 4 p.m. Tip-off is at 6. Saturday on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you at the American Cancer Society Hope Lodge, Nebraska here in Omaha. It is our annual Pink Out broadcast, getting ready for the annual Pink Out game, the Creighton versus Cancer Pink Out game. Please drop by, bring paper products. There's cash donations. There is a link online available for you, cancer.org/pinkout. You can make donations there as well. We had the Pink Out auction this week. There's so many things that go into this. And for more, we turn to Julie Murray, who's the vice president of Methodist Hospital and a board member at the American Cancer Society. Julie, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good to talk to you again. So I just mentioned all of those things. It feels like this grows and grows in a positive direction every single year. And here we are yet again. I was telling you before, this is my first time here, but just all the things that go into this and all the different people that get involved. I'd love to see it continue to grow that direction.
Oh my gosh, it is amazing. You know, this is the 12th year that we have been a sponsor with Creighton, and Creighton's just done an amazing job with the whole event. I think it's become, one of the very largest in the nation.
Yeah.
And, at Methodist, we really see this as an opportunity to promote cancer awareness, screening for cancer awareness, and also as a way to raise funds for the Hope Lodge here. So, Creighton has been a tremendous advocate for cancer patients in our community. And so it's been a great partnership with them.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Hope Lodge in general. We had the mother of a cancer patient here on earlier, and there's just some little things that you just don't think about. You have obviously the big picture stuff. It's a financial burden that is loosened on the family, but I go to like peace of mind and things like that too. Talk to us about your partnership with the Hope Lodge and then what you've seen it do for patients of Methodist.
Right. Well, we can't really serve our patients to the fullest extent without the Hope Lodge and without our partnership with the American Cancer Society. When they were discussing about building a Hope Lodge in Omaha, we knew we wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah.
So we were, at Methodist, so honored to donate the land where the Hope Lodge sits.
Oh, very cool.
And really help make this a reality. For our patients, they come from long distances. At Estabrook Cancer Center, we serve about 30,000 patient visits a year. And those patients are coming from outstate Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, South Dakota, long distances. And so, you talk about the financial burden, cancer is expensive, right? And so I think the American Cancer Society estimated here in Omaha that since the lodge opened in 2018, they've saved cancer patients $2.4 million in hotel lodging.
Amazing.
Right? It is amazing. So if these folks who are coming into town, if they have to get a hotel, that's a big financial burden. And another scary statistic that the American Cancer Society has told us is about 20% of patients state that if we didn't have lodging help, they may forego their treatments. So
wow.
Yeah, not a great statistic.
Well,
so it's just fantastic that it's here.
I was going to ask you sort of a little follow-up on that, I guess. Like, what do you hear from, you have it big picture statistics that you guys have at the American Cancer Society, but also, in talking to patients, talking to their families, like, what do you hear from them that either the Hope Lodge gives them access to or that they sort of need the most during their treatments?
Yeah. So we recently had a patient from Hastings, Nebraska, share with us her cancer story and really, how grateful she was that the Hope Lodge was here. While she was in the hospital, several times they'd have to come back, get cancer treatment. She would be there, but her husband could stay here just down the street. And so it was that complete peace of mind that you mentioned, just knowing that he was nearby, that he could be here. And also, we're able to offer patients transportation assistance through grants through the American Cancer Society. So that family, as well as so many others, have been recipients of travel grants and gas cards to also help with that transportation piece of it.
That's everything.
It is. It is. It's just, one less thing you have to worry about. There are so many things.
We talked to Susan, who joined us earlier, and they're from, they're from Wyoming, and it's 10 hours. And if it's snowing, it's 13 hours.
I know. Yeah.
And so stuff like that, it just makes all the difference.
Right. And you're in a completely different state. You don't know anyone, no family nearby to help.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic. Let's talk about what the Pink Out game sort of has, we've talked about what some of the causes that we're supporting, but it's been really cool to see in now 14 years how the community rallies around the game and takes a lot of pride in it. And you mentioned it's one of the biggest in the country. It is. And it's one of the most well-known around the country because there's a lot of schools who try to do this. Like, what can you say about Omaha and its ability to once again answer the bell and rally around a sweet cause?
Right. Yeah. No, they're trading out their blue, their beloved blue, right?
Yep.
Saturday night for pink. So
but it looks great. It looks awesome.
Gosh, it's amazing. So if you're going to the game, be sure to see one of the Methodist volunteers and get your pink shirt, right? Because that's not where you want to stand out. But
no, you don't want to be the one person wearing blue tomorrow.
Right. But just that whole event is just awe-inspiring, really. And when those people stand up with their cards,
every single time,
of who they are there for, cheering for, who they're honoring, who they're remembering, it is truly amazing and really shows that cancer affects so many people. But cancer itself is such an isolating experience for the person that's fighting through cancer. And so I think what's so cool about it is Omaha is showing, hey, you're not alone. we're here. We're here with you. We're rooting you on too.
That's classic Nebraska.
It
right?
is. It is.
Every single time they answered the bell, we've already seen the donations rolling in from the Pink Out auction that Creighton had, and of course this today as well, and tomorrow too. Julie, thank you so much for doing this and for being behind this again, and for coming to chat with us, of course.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank
We're like,
you.
I think we're the two like schlubbiest guys to be involved in this entire thing. So we're just like, let's let everybody else, do their thing, and the smart people take care of things. We'll just we'll stand by today. So
Awesome.
that's what we're doing.
Thank you so much.
That is Dr. Julie Murray, the vice president of not doctor. I apologize.
No, not doctor. Don't put me there.
I don't know why I keep doing that. I'm talking to too many doctors, I guess. Julie Murray, the vice president of Methodist Hospital and American Cancer Society board member. We will take a quick break and come back with more next on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Hanley.
But if you like trophies, that's great. I like sexy victories. I would rather have sex than have a trophy. Okay? That's just who I am. All right?
I think we could all agree on
the
that.
wide receiver from Wake Forest. People say that I like big-bodied women. That might be the case. I don't discriminate. Okay? I like big-bodied wide receivers. That's why I like the guy from Wake Forest. Okay, back to Iowa.
Mornings with Sharp and Hanley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
We are yet again going to sit in the mid-30s with gloomy conditions for the remainder of your Friday afternoon. A potential for fog redeveloping again tonight, leading into tomorrow morning with temperatures below freezing. May cause some slick spots on untreated surfaces with a high temperature tomorrow near 35 degrees. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery, KETV Newswatch 7.
I'm Rick Betker from Omaha Car Care. We want to thank all our friends and clients who made 2023 a great year. And we hope you can help us spread joy to others. From now through January, we're hosting a boot drive for the kids of the Q school system. At this time of year, they could really use some warm boots. So if you could bring your new or gently used boots to any of our 4 locations, we'll make sure they get to kids in need. Thanks from Omaha Car Care.
Woodhouse Hyundai offers a streamlined car buying experience tailored to you. Browse our current offers and save up to $12,000 off the 2024 Hyundai Ioniq 5 Limited. And when you shop Woodhouse Hyundai, you can rest easy with Hyundai Shopper Assurance, America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Start your deal online at woodhousehyundai.com today. With approved credit, tax, title, license extra. Must finance with Hyundai Financial and own competitive model. $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires January 31st, 2024. See dealer for details.
This is a sale so hot, Standard Heating and Air can only do it once a year. Right now, buy a Carrier air conditioner from Standard Heating and Air and get a free furnace. Now, that's a hot deal.
StandardAC.com, where we do the things we do.
Carrier, turn to the experts. Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
I mean, Chuck E. Cheese is rough. I don't know if you've been there in a while. They look like they're trying to go to business and they can't.
All new material.
They filed for bankruptcy and they're still open. They called Blockbuster and they're like, how do you get out? We want out.
Nate Bargatze.
Saturday, June 29th, CHI Health Center. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Outback Presents.
Don't miss Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
Every Friday, we bring you discounts to some of your favorite businesses in the Metro. Now we bring you deals every weekend, too. Welcome to OmahaWeekendDeals.com. This weekend's deal is supersized with deals from Churco, Timber Creek Pizza, and 72 Table and Tap. 3 fantastic Omaha restaurants, all half off. You'll get $50 worth of food to one of these amazing restaurants for only $25. But hurry, a deal like this is going to go quick. Head to OmahaWeekendDeals.com to get yours.
The world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is available right at your fingertips in Iowa. The Circa Sports Iowa app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Iowa and experience high betting limits, tight money line splits, and exceptional customer service. Download your new bookie today. Visit circasports.com and start betting like a pro from anywhere in Iowa. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
All right, a couple things to hit as we near the end of our run here at the Hope Lodge, Nebraska. Once again, make a donation day of the game or any day, really. I think the link specifically is open until Sunday, cancer.org/pinkout, and all donations will benefit the American Cancer Society, Hope Lodge, Nebraska, which we are sitting in right now. The Nebraska Cancer Specialists will be matching all donations received up to $30,000. There is a
so your match counts double. Your donation counts double.
That's right. It's
whatever you're given, you're actually given times 2.
Yeah, for my video game players out there, it's like double XP weekend.
Oh yeah.
You know, you hop on a little Call of Duty. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to keep playing Call of Duty. It's double XP weekend. Yeah. Joey knows what I'm talking about. Joey knows exactly what I'm talking about.
And he's excited.
It's excited. Oh, okay. You know, whatever. Fork knife, whatever you got going over there. What are you playing? Man. What are you playing? Oh, I love Red Dead Redemption.
That's probably vintage.
I have a plan. I just need money. That's my guy. Yeah. Okay, good. We learned a lot about Joey today as well. All right. So we got a couple things before we get out of here. We have the conference championship games, the AFC title game, the NFC title game. Yes, but I can't say that. That is true.
I can.
I have a question before that, Josh.
Oh.
Does anybody among us want Bill Belichick to be their head coach? Because it does not seem like it.
It appears not.
It appears not. It appears that the Falcons will do anything to not hire Bill Belichick. In fact, that they did. So it makes a lot of sense to me. We sort of broached the topic a couple days ago here, but like it makes some sense to me why you wouldn't want to turn your entire franchise over to the 70-plus-year-old guy who wants, total and complete control over your entire thing. Like, and you don't know
going to give that up for 3 or 4 years and then have to do it all over again.
What's the best case scenario? He is there for how long? Like
5 years max,
2, 3, 4 years, something like that. Like, it's going to be a short-term deal. So, it's not like a Brady situation where he can come in and be, obviously they turned the franchise over to Brady kind of as well. But, a lot of it is dependent on the players that you get around them and what you have to deal with. So I feel like there's kind of better, it seems like the NFL is saying that there's better options out there than, completely blowing up exactly what we do and turning it over to Bill Belichick for a couple of years. And God knows, is he even going to win?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other major question with him. Is he even going to win? Now, I've heard people talk about this, and then they've spun it into, and this is the moment where I could go this direction, but I'm not, Josh. I'm taking a fork off the road here.
Okay.
They're spinning it into, was Bill Belichick ever that good in the first place? Right?
Okay.
They're spinning it into like, hey, look at what Bill Belichick's done in his career without Tom Brady. It's a bunch of crap. Like, it's a bunch of nothing. And like, okay, but it's still a two-way street. It still works. We don't have to do the one or the other thing. One guy's great and the other guy stinks. No, like they both needed each other to win as much as they did. He's an all-time great coach in the NFL. Let's not do revisionist history on Bill Belichick, even though it's understandable why people don't want him at this moment. That is my take.
Yeah, it's like turning around a giant cruise ship, right? Like it takes time. It's not a speedboat that can easily weave in and out of different coaches and player groups. It takes time to get things set and set off to sea, so to speak. So yeah, I understand teams going, I don't want to turn this over to him for 3-4 years. And, there's probably Dallas is Mike McCarthy's going to get fired at some point, right?
Well, they're kind of all in for next year,
Yeah.
with the same group that they have. So yeah, he is going to get fired after next year.
You thought Buffalo and Philly might lose their coaches. They ended up not. So there weren't a lot of options for him outside of Atlanta.
I don't know that those were great spots.
I don't think they were.
Like, do you want is it going to be the franchise who is sort of peaking, or is it going to be the one that's coming up? Like, I don't know if there is a great, one size fits all for Bill Belichick in that situation. I don't know what the right formula would be.
Yeah, I don't even know what the dream scenario. Who's a Bill Belichick away?
And that's the thing. I don't think it comes down to that. I don't think it comes down to football. I think it comes down to a bunch of these owners and GMs saying, I just feel uncomfortable with this, based on the track record of what's happened over the last couple of years, not specifically football-wise. As egregious as they've been, as egregious as they were football-wise this year, they have been awful in the draft for years, all due to Bill Belichick. So that's not a direction that you're totally interested in going at this point. Let's just make this segment, Josh, like take a palooza. Let's get all the because I got like three or four things that I want to get out before we get out of here. Everything is coming up Ryan Day.
It sure seems that way.
Everything is coming up Ryan Day. Michigan.
Day.
What's going to happen with them? Don't know. Ohio State has gotten all these players. They've gotten a couple from the transfer portal. They have like 3 5-star quarterbacks in their quarterback room. Everybody's coming back. They've made good hires. They've done all these things. And meanwhile, Michigan just won a national championship and Ohio State's reloading. Michigan lost their coach. Everything is coming up Ryan Day. And if they don't win the national championship this year, and especially if they don't beat Michigan, this thing is done. That is it. And I wasn't on the Ohio State is, Ryan Day's on this hot seat deal, but they have now created a situation where it's so good that they can't lose.
Mm-hmm.
So go take advantage of what you have this year. You must beat Michigan, or you will be fired. This will explode. This is a very telling year for the Buckeyes.
He's always been able to sort of talk his way out of it or convince the fan base that, well, this needs to happen first, this needs to happen, or this happened, so we didn't win. And now it feels like time's up. Like, okay, it's winning time in Columbus. There's a graphic I could churn out. A little winning time. Slap Ryan Day's face on it. But he's got an NFL coordinator by his side now. He's got the quarterbacks. He's got the players. There's running out of excuses there in Columbus. So it'll be interesting to see how they adapt.
I'm glad Josh is here because we're talking about Ohio State being good next year.
Oh, he loves Ohio State.
By the way, I want to address this in the chat here real quick. Chance is here. Now, I know we said Chance is banned today, but it's not. It's okay. Chance has a real question. He asked if I play Red Dead Redemption. And then Joey responded to him on the thing, and he said, no, he probably doesn't. What do you mean I probably don't? What is
old head?
What is that supposed to mean, Joey? What's going on?
You're not the type of guy who goes on. You're not the type of guy who plays video games, Connor.
What?
You just don't seem that guy.
Is this a compliment? Is this a good thing?
This is a compliment.
Nah, but you're wrong, my friend. I'm as big of a nerd as anybody else out there. I sit down there and play Madden and Call of Duty. I finished Red Dead Redemption years ago. I played Red Dead Redemption before you were born, kid.
He's got disposable income, Joey.
That's right. And Joey doesn't have a response to that.
That's right.
All quiet on the Joey
I'm
front.
speechless.
All quiet on
I
the
am
Joey
speechless.
Very, very interesting. Yeah, Chance, hit me up. I haven't played in a long time, but I could re-download it, I guess. All right, let's talk about the conference title games this weekend. Hold on, let me see if I got an answer to this question. All right, so we still have one more segment in between. Let's do that on the other side.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the 2 championship games. Are we going chalk, or is something wonky going to happen this weekend? And who's got the better chance? We'll find out next on 1620 The Zone.
For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620 The Zone.
Betting on your favorite sporting events just got a whole lot easier. Warhorse Sportsbook is now open in Omaha. Save yourself the drive across the river and put your money where your mouth is at Horseman's Park, 6303 Q Street. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
It's time to make good on those New Year's fitness resolutions by becoming a member at Croc Center Omaha. We've got a full range of fitness activities, free weights, Zumba classes, an indoor water park, pickleball courts, and much more. And right now is the perfect time to join. Sign up before the end of February, and you can start your membership for just $1. Plus, we'll waive the registration fee. The Croc Center is just moments away from the Kennedy Freeway and Q Street. Go to omahacroc.org for more information. That's omahakroc.org.
Rib Shack Smokehouse, along with Big Mama's Kitchen and Catering and Island Chill 402, join with Open Door Mission to warm up Omaha with their sock and foot warmer drive. No one should go without new socks and foot warmers this winter. Through February 7th, donate new socks and foot warmers when you have a meal at Rib Shack Smokehouse at 108 and Q. Big Mama's Kitchen and Catering at 2112 North 30th or Island Chill 402 at 1802 North 24th. Help Open Door Mission keep people warm this winter.
You guys just didn't want it bad enough. That should have been an easy win. What were you doing out there? You got to hustle. You could have made that play if you'd been open.
On the car ride home after the game, when you think you're helping by telling me what I did wrong and what I need to work on, all I hear is that I'm not good enough, that I'm supposed to be perfect, that it's not okay to lose. On the car ride home, all I need to hear is how much you love me and enjoy watching me play. That my worth isn't determined by my performance. That even on my worst day, I am worthy. That you see me learning, growing, and doing my best. And that is enough.
This message presented by the NSAA and the Nebraska State Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Interesting thoughts on Bill Belichick from Joel on Twitter.
Hi, Joel.
JTech Constructions on Twitter feed. So you're telling me that you shouldn't trade away your first-round draft pick 10 years in a row?
Seems like something you would not want to do, yes.
I'd say that, just advice to all GMs out there. You need good players to win football games.
Interesting.
Good players usually are drafted in the first round. Sometimes the second. Sometimes other rounds, but usually like the top 3. One more thing before we get to conference title games and pick them. Ed Cooley is going to have a big weekend in front of him.
This is must-watch TV, people.
Is it? Okay. Is it must-watch TV?
The first 5 minutes, yes.
I can't lie. Now, I'm a sicko. I don't know how much it applies to the general public, I guess, or people who aren't Big East basketball fans. But I am incredibly intrigued in what's going to happen to Ed Cooley when his name is announced tomorrow as the Georgetown head coach when they visit Providence for the first time, and all the weirdos who made the big, long documentary accusing him of various things throughout his time and then leaving for Georgetown. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I'm honestly a little scared. Providence, I mean, those are some. They pride themselves. They're like the blue collar. We work harder than you, so we're better than you. And if you tell them that somebody else is better than you, like, hey, Ed Cooley, guy you loved, one of us, one of you, right? He is leaving to go to a conference rival that hasn't had success in years, but has this kind of aura about them, right? It's Georgetown.
Big East basketball.
Yeah, and that is just the perfect combination, the perfect storm for things to not sit very well in Providence.
No, the fine purveyors of mutt cuts and I got worms will be out in full force tomorrow at the formerly Dunkin' Donuts Arena.
I would be making how many Dumb and Dumber references? I've never been to Providence, I don't think. I've driven around Providence, but I would make way too many Dumb and Dumber references.
Oh yeah,
Pretty
absolutely.
Yeah, I would do too much of that. So our respect to Ed Cooley tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get respect from anybody else.
Nope.
You're not going to get respect from anybody in the artist formerly known as the Dunk, but you will still get respect from us from afar. Good luck, Ed Cooley. I hope you make it out of there alive.
2 Yahoos in Omaha. Still respect you, Ed.
Other Big East games tomorrow so that's at 11:30. That's Big Fox, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Seton Hall and Marquette tomorrow at noon. Villanova and Butler at 2. And then Creighton and DePaul at 6. Over in the Big Ten, Nebraska has the early slate tomorrow. They are getting Maryland at 11 o'clock. By the way, quick pick. Nebraska on the road. Maryland?
Give Scott Van Pelt what for?
So you're in? You're in on Nebraska, Josh? Is this breaking news?
I mean, no. I will go with the bit and pick the Turtles.
Okay. I don't know who I don't know what the line will be on that tomorrow. Ken Palm has it as a 1-point Nebraska loss. My little Ken Palm.
Little Ken Palm thingy.
So, man, it could be probably 3, somewhere in that range for Maryland. Indiana, Illinois is tomorrow. Iowa, Michigan tomorrow. Minnesota, Penn State tomorrow. And Northwestern and Ohio State. Turns out nobody's actually that good in the Big Ten, so all those matchups don't seem that appealing.
Nothing really jumped off the page there that you just read. No.
Not particularly appealing. Okay. And on Sunday, 2 o'clock, settle in. AFC title game is first. The disrespected, hated on, persecuted, nobody believed in them, Kansas City Chiefs, and you're going to have to deal with them at the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson legacy game. If Patrick Mahomes wins it, it'd be the most impressive thing he's done in his career so far. It's at 2 o'clock. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo will be jimming everywhere. Are you going out on a limb? Are you respecting the Chiefs? Or are you disrespecting the Chiefs for one final time?
The thing that has gone unreported very early on this season.
Are you breaking news?
Is that Baltimore, very good. Very good. We should be talking about them more
I
than
think
we
that's
are.
been reported.
I don't know if it has. A lot of talk about how good the Chiefs are or are not. I'm gonna ride with the MVP. I'm gonna ride with the home team. I'm gonna ride with the team with the best kicker in the history of kickers.
Okay.
And they get their tight end back tomorrow, which is something that Kansas City's going to have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
They have
You're going to have to deal with it.
They got a ferocious defense there in Baltimore. That building's going to be jacked. Ray Lewis is back. Michael Phelps is delivering the game ball. So, I mean, it is.
How do you know that?
I read things. You should try it.
I read things all the time. I don't know where it would have came up that Michael Phelps is delivering the game ball.
Oh, you got to read the game notes.
Okay. Oh, you get the actual team notes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you up there with your capsules.
I got my capsules.
I see you, Josh. I see you. Mm-hmm. All right. So this has been an eternal struggle for me. I have to be honest with you. I like Baltimore is better. They are more complete.
Mm-hmm.
They are more dynamic. They have they have a great defense. They have a very good offense. They can beat you in a variety of different ways. But the Chiefs are
they got that little something, don't they? Just that.
Well, I mean, they have that guy.
That little something is Patrick Mahomes.
They have that guy back there, and he's pretty good, and they could run it, and they could play a little bit of defense. Logic would have me picking the Baltimore Ravens here, but my brain, working a little bit differently than logic, I guess, has me thinking very, very hard about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Whoa.
I will Screw it. Take the Kansas City Chiefs.
Whoa.
On the road.
Respect.
Yeah, I debated all the way up until that last minute. All the way up until that last second.
That wasn't a bit, by the way. He was genuinely on the fence.
I don't know. Like there's once again, you think about it logically, you think about it from a football perspective, it looks like the Ravens to me. But the Chiefs have some magic going. Once again, like I don't think we could overstate this. When they were playing Buffalo last week, the team that was rolling and that had played a great game the week before. I knew it was against Pittsburgh, but they kept that going. Josh Allen hasn't, he didn't throw a pick. He was fantastic. Like that's their kryptonite, right? He was still good in that game. And Kansas City had Buffalo like really trying to figure, they had him out of their game plan a little bit, out of their normal game plan. They had to cater their game plan to playing the Chiefs. It was, let's keep it away from Patrick Mahomes at all times. The Ravens are capable of doing that. But the thing that happened was the Bills actually did it. And they lost.
And they still lost.
And they should have lost by 2 touchdowns. They should have lost by 10. So like, I don't know. Kansas City might have something. And I hate it. I hate to admit it. Because we all tried to bury them a couple of weeks ago and they deserve to be tried to be buried. But I think the Chiefs are going to go to the Super Bowl. And then we'll have to deal with it.
Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl, everybody.
Detroit and Kansas City, or Detroit and San Francisco, I think about a little bit less, I think. Now the rub with that game is if Detroit comes out and they score a touchdown right away or another touchdown right away. Once again, the Niners are a completely different team when they're coming from behind. Don't like them in that position. It's the only position I don't like them in. So, but they just are so complete, right? And frankly, I know how the first matchup went on Christmas Eve or Christmas between San Francisco and Baltimore.
Christmas, yeah.
But frankly, that's a matchup that I would love to see again.
Yeah. I imagine Brock is not going to throw 4 interceptions if those two teams play again.
Give me the Chiefs against the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
I thought you'd go first game of the season would be the last game of the season. Remember when the Lions beat the Chiefs?
I'm a narrative guy. Give me the Chiefs and the Niners in the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo won't be there, which is great news for San Francisco.
Yeah. Give me the Niners against the Baltimore Ravens at the Super Bowl in Vegas.
Yeah. You're going to have to deal with that, too.
Yeah.
That's going to be another.
That's a factor.
All right. We had one poll question today, Josh.
We did. Came from the morning crossover with one Nick Hanley.
One singular crossover, or one singular poll question, and here it is. Are Usher and Billy Joel tight?
I can't imagine they are.
You can't?
No.
Oh, you know what? You know how this read to me? And that was funny because I was even involved in the conversation. This read to me like, are they tight? Like, are they cool?
Yeah.
Like, not those two together, but like, are they cool as people? Like, individually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a different interpretation sure.
I bet they are. I'm just going to say yes. 61% say no. Josh, they don't think they are tight.
Interesting.
Those are the poll questions. What are we watching tonight?
Well, we talked about the football games. We'll run them down again. Chiefs-Ravens, 2 o'clock on Sunday on CBS. You can also hear it on 1620 The Zone and 1290 Coil. You'll get the Chiefs pregame and postgame coverage. Well, Holtis will not be on the call, but the Westwood 1 game will be on 1290 and 1620.
Josh knows.
Yeah.
Josh knows. Get out of here.
I'm in on the
You
emails.
want to talk about backseat producing?
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's a quarter for you. You'll get the Chiefs pre- and post-game coverage of the AFC Championship game with a Westwood 1 call in the middle there. Lions, Niners after that on Big Fox or 1620 The Zone there. NBA, I know you'll fire up the League Pass and Grizzlies tonight to look for
Steve Sipple in attendance.
12 rows back somewhere.
Amazing.
Everybody look for him. Mavericks Hawks is on NBA TV tonight, followed by Blazers Spurs. Too many Spurs games on this season just to watch Wemby.
A lot of Wemby.
They're not very good. Heat Knicks.
Doug McDermott TV time.
Well, yeah, that's good. I like you finding the silver lining there. ABC has an NBA triple header tomorrow. 2 o'clock, Heat Knicks, followed by Sixers Nuggets. Nuggets need to rebound after last night. What was that?
Last year.
Lakers, Warriors, your nightcap in the NBA. ESPN has hockey tonight. Golden Knights at Madison Square Garden to take on the Rangers. College basketball this weekend. Nebraska at Maryland, 11 a.m. on BTN. Big CBS, Kansas at Iowa State. Battle of ranked teams there at 12:30. Big Fox has Indiana against Illinois, number 10 in the country at 2 p.m. 3 o'clock on 1290, you can listen to the Omaha Mavericks at the Denver Pioneers. Gary Sharp with the call there out in the Rockies. DePaul at number 17, Creighton. 6 o'clock start on FS1. Coverage begins on 1620 at 4 o'clock. Trio of good women's games this weekend. Nebraska at Iowa. 1 o'clock on Sunday. BTN is where you can find that one. Number 15, Notre Dame at number 8, UConn. 7 o'clock Saturday night on Big Fox. And CBS Sports Network. 1 o'clock on Sunday. Number 21, the Creighton women host Seton Hall.
Look
Connor?
at that. That's a lot of hoops, Josh.
A lot of hoops. Big hoops weekend.
A lot of hooping. Josh, this has been good.
This has been fun.
Let's try it again next year.
Yeah.
I think we'll try that again.
We'll make it 2 years in a row.
All right, this is our half of the Pink Out broadcast, or our section of the Pink Out broadcast. Josh and John are coming up next for Unsportsmanlike Conduct. We'll have the crossover. Mac will be in to talk little hoops and the Pink Out event as well. But if you miss anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover's next.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 16.